Boot out some people.
And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. We are live, and Malguli ended up leaving us when we go live. Ain't that interested? But thank y'all for tuning in into another edition of the Spotlight Sports Talk podcast, Episode 7. And we're here with a special edition of Spotlight Sports Talk podcast. I am your host, Darian of Spotlight Sports Talk, and this is just all NFL talk, free agency, probably some mock drafts, some players that our opinions on who has been signed, who has not been signed. But without further ado, I do have my three colleagues here with me, and to my right, I think, or my left, my right, or whatever, we have the Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears in all wrestling, Mr. Mal Gully. What's going on? Gully! I think he froze up again. I don't know, y'all, but we do have my guy that's down there, down all the way on the West Coast, all the way from Vegas. Snake Sports Talk. What's going on, man?
Hey, listen, Vegas right now can be on 30-day shutdown, but you know what's not shutting down? Talking about NFL free agency. That ain't shutting me down for 30 days.
Absolutely. And I got it. Oh, she took my Gully spot. All right. So we have my Philadelphia Eagles analyst about to put the Eagles on blast about this and what's going on.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Is Key in the building? What is going on?
Of course, I'm still working. Literally, they ain't tell me to go home yet, so I'm gonna still get this bread. But in the meantime, I'm ready to talk some NFL because we need something to talk about.
And I'm gonna reintroduce the wrestling analyst, the Chicago sports analyst, the guy that really got happy about Nick Foles being traded to the Chicago Bears, Mr. Malguli himself. What is going on?
I'm going on as long as I don't have to pimp slap my Wi-Fi connector, so that's why I'm kind of been lagging. But it seems like I might have to. I can't wait to talk about this, and I also want to let you all know because I got cut off earlier on the start. WrestleMania is gonna be a 2-day event.
Lord Jesus,
Vince McMahon canceled the freaking show. Please, just God, I just want to smack Vince so hard.
Well, I don't know if you saw my tweet on Twitter where you saw The Rock versus Mankind and no fans in a no fans match. So
that was amazing. That was an amazing match.
But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Shout out to Lee Jenkins for being here right now. Trigger Tom, thank you for being here. Joshua Hutton, thank you for being here. And we're going to get straight into it. I don't care if it's 4 people. I don't care if it's 0 people. We're going to get into the 2 topics at hand. Jay Raiders, what is going on, Jay Raiders? He said word about slapping Vince. Shout out to Jay Raiders that was on here. But we're going to get into the first topic of the night, and that's going to be your former Chargers, Jake, and Mr. Tom Brady himself. Phillip Rivers going to the Colts for 1 year, $25 million, and Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think what I'm hearing, it is a multi-year deal for $30 million. How do y'all feel about these 2 quarterbacks, knowing that Phillip Rivers had a great career in San Diego, LA, and Tom Brady had there's really nothing to say about the 20 years that Tom Brady had being a part of one team. So how do y'all feel about these 2 players that was with their franchises majority of their career to be on 2 different teams now?
Well, I'll start with this. I mean, for me, being a Charger fan since I was 7 years old, man. I mean, I'd seen the time of when, Drew Brees was at quarterback and when Phillip Rivers came into this league. And there was this whole big topic of quarterback controversy. And, I love Phillip Rivers for as long as he has played and bolting up, but we knew that this was a time for a change. It was kind of the same as, Peyton Manning's deal with the Colts. But I'm very happy that he took the 1-year deal with the Colts. I think he's finally getting a healthy offensive line as promised after 14 years of being with the team, that they've never addressed their offensive line. So I'm happy for him. I wish the best of luck for him. And we'll see where it goes from there. I think it's a good upgrade. I don't know if it's a great upgrade compared to with some of the other quarterbacks in the league, but I think this is good enough for the Colts. I think they did a great gamble with this.
Anybody else?
I'm gonna say this about the Colts. You know, and my brother EJ, shout out to him. And you know what? I think having Phillip Rivers go to the Colts is really a great fit. It really is a great fit. Finally, and by God, finally, Phillip Rivers doesn't have to run for his life all the freaking time. And now, you know, he has a true offensive line. He has true wide receivers to, you know, throw it to. He has a real running back. Nothing against Melvin Gordon, but you got Malik Monk. And then also, I'm going to say this right now, the Colts are probably going to win the AFC South. Because let's be honest, Houston, Bill O'Brien, you are the problem. Jacksonville, thank you for the QB that won a Super Bowl as a backup. Good luck with Minshew Mania. And Tennessee, you overpaid Tannehill. Should have gave that money to Henry.
We're going to get into all of that, but Key, how you feel about these two signees, knowing with, you know, Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady?
It's different. I mean, you used to seeing both of these quarterbacks, you know, in the same spot for years. You know, we grew up watching Phillip Rivers with San Diego. Well, I'm sorry, Los Angeles. We grew up with him, and then of course Brady with New England. That's all he knows. But for them to go different, I mean, Phillip Rivers did need a different scenery. I knew somebody was going to scoop him up. You know, he's still a veteran. He still can get it done. The numbers don't lie. He just never won the big dance. So for him to even possibly get there, that one season I thought they were going to do it, but couldn't get it. They couldn't get past the Patriots. So but I think Tampa Bay is the best fit for Brady though. So he got weapons. They just need a running back. They got tight ends. He got weapons to deal with. He'll be great over there.
Now, in my opinion on how do I feel about it, I think Phillip Rivers is in a great spot. I think he's in a great spot because of he has a little bit of weapons over there. Hopefully, the Indianapolis Colts can re-sign Eric Ebron, bring him back down, be a big target for Phillip Rivers. You know, and T.Y. Hilton got to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, that is another weapon that he has. And that defense just upgraded, bringing over DeForest Buckner in a trade for that first round pick. Understand they gave up the first round pick, you know, to the 49ers, which is the 13th overall. But DeForest Buckner with Darius Leonard and that defense has been improving every single year. It gives Phillip Rivers a little bit, you know, a chance. And I think the Colts was smart with signing him for 1 year, but I think $25 million was a bit much just for 1 year. If you're going to do $25 million, at least sign him for at least 2 years, at least that. But I think they're trying to see what's going on with him because of, you know, his interception ratio with the Chargers this past year. He was very inconsistent last year. So I think this contract with Phillip Rivers is more like a, let me see what you could do, Phillip Rivers. And if you could prove to us, we could give you a bigger contract. Now, on the reason of my Tom Brady situation, how I feel about Tom Brady is I think he's in the best fit as well. Now we finally get to see the Drew Brees versus Tom Brady, the Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. We see quarterbacks that he really didn't go up against. And I think he has a lot to prove, saying that, you know, AFC was the better conference, but really, let's be honest, the NFC is the better conference when it comes to competition wise. So in my opinion, I think Tom Brady has something to prove just because he's in the NFC. And I think he wants to conquer the NFC after conquering the AFC for the last 20 years. So I think he still will have a chip on his shoulder. And I like the signing on it. It's a multi-year deal. It probably will be like 2 or 3 years for $30 million. And then if he could get a Super Bowl out of those 3 years, out of 2 of those 3 years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, probably won't, because that's going to be a very interesting NFC South. Very interesting. So, yeah, I definitely do like these two signees with Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady's. Any last thoughts or anything else y'all have to say about it before we go on to the next topic?
I feel like with Tom Brady, I thought what was it? You said it was 3 years, right? And how much money?
It's a multi-year deal, so it could be between 2 and 3 years.
It's all about the money because you're still getting a Tom Brady, an aging Tom Brady. But you know what? He does have a good coach in Bruce Arians. Let's not forget about that. Like Bruce Arians is a heck of a coach. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you know what? Patriots fans, all I got to say is this. You enjoyed your ride for all these years, and now you're going back to the dark ages. At least you got 6.
My biggest thing with Tom Brady, and I'm very happy of the situation. And again, this could have played out either or, especially with, the Chargers also being another, option for him. But of course, the hard part was having to deal with a division that's filled with duo pass rushers, Patrick Mahomes, and the division was getting younger. So I think that being in the NFC South is the best fit because the fact that Drew Brees is only staying in New Orleans for 2 more years and doesn't have too much left in the tank. Then you've got Teddy Bridgewater now in Carolina and having Tannehill back in Tennessee crap. But the South, I think it's a good fit. I think it's a really, really good fit. And the fact of the matter is, do I think Tampa Bay will be done? Maybe not, because I still am under the impression that they may sign Melvin Gordon, and now they have a stacked offense. They've got everything that Tom Brady asks for, wants, and he feels appreciated. And as you mentioned about Bruce Arians, he's worked with certain quarterbacks like Peyton Manning, Carson Palmer, and so many others, and even Andrew Luck. So he's used to the veteran quarterback presence. I'm happy for him. I wish the best of luck for him in Tampa, but as you said, the NFC East, it is filled with a lot of competitors, and it's probably the most fun league compared to the AFC, which we only see one team every single year.
And what I'm hearing is that I don't know. I just saw a YouTube notification from I forgot his name. Let me go to it real quick, because they saying that AB wants to play with Tom Brady in Tampa Bay.
No,
yeah, Damien is trying to stay in on the chat.
Yeah, no. I don't see that happening. Knowing that with all the mental illness of Antonio Brown and what he has, it really came out to light this past season. So I really don't see. I don't think Tom Brady wants Antonio Brown to join. Mm-hmm. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen because of what Roger Goodell feels about Antonio Brown, what the league feels like Antonio Brown. After what Antonio Brown said about this league and saying F the NFL, mm-hmm. and some tweets, that's going to come back and kick him in the behind. Tom Brady could vouch for Antonio Brown all you want, but you really discredit the league after they kicked you out after what you did. You really discredit the league, talking about you wasn't getting your money and you try to file grievances against the league. It was just too much drama. And I don't think Tom Brady, if he wants that, best of luck to him. But in my personal opinion, I don't see it happening. I don't think Roger Goodell will let him back in the league. He has too much going on social media that would not make him come back into the league. Brady can want him all you want, but it's really up to the league if the league wants him. Tom Brady can say whatever he wants. At the end of the day, Tom Brady still plays for the NFL. He still gets paid by the NFL. So it's really up to the commissioner, Roger Goodell, or the league office to see if they want Tom Brady back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally agree. But here's the other thing, though, too, is the fact of the matter is what's the point in Tampa with the fact that they got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin? You're going to throw in Antonio Brown to try to, compete with these other two guys. I mean, they're already showing themselves that they can pop. They're pro bowlers in this league. So there's really, really no point into it. And I absolutely agree. It does come down to whether the league and the commissioner himself are, agreed upon to bring AB back. But from this point forward, it's not definitely going to happen.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I definitely disagree with trying to get AB to go to Tampa Bay. He got to get in the league first before he can get on any team.
And even if he does come back to the league, remember, he says some very cryptic tweets about Bruce Arians. So, yeah, because remember, he used to coach him in college. He said that was not the same AB that he was, the drama queen. Well, us in the in the sports world. We call him the diva, but he was acting like a prima donna, a diva. The whole thing with the Raiders, the whole thing with the Steelers, the whole thing, with the his baby mama, throwing luggage at at a balcony. It's like AB has a lot of problems, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts. He has problems, serious issue, and I don't even think the NFL is going to let him back. Why would Roger Goodell want him back? And I'm sorry, even if Brady wants him in Tampa Bay, this is how I would feel. If I was Bruce Arians, I would talk to Tom Brady saying, "Look, we got you like this. We got the talent here. We have a culture now with you running the office. Having AB is not the answer. You need to focus on that." And then you also said, I think Snake also talked about the other quarterback. You forgot Matty Ice.
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan. So yeah, I mean that AFC South. Oh, I'm telling you, we got you got Brady, Bridgewater, Matty Ice. Wow.
And Breeze.
Oh my.
No, I think the real reason Patriots. Brady didn't want to be with the Patriots. I think it has something to do with Bill.
Yeah, he wants to win a championship.
Robert Kraft didn't want him to go. I think it was all up to Belichick. Kraft was going to give him the money. I think it was all up to Bill.
That's something behind the scenes. You don't know what happened between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. And to be honest, though, Tom Brady wants to prove that he can win a championship without the guidance of Bill Belichick. And if he does, GOAT. You can GOAT. That's what you can say. You can win one without the coach that coached you for dang near your whole career. That's a big plus too, and it also gives credibility to already a great name and Bruce Arians. So yeah. I mean, I'm happy for Tom. It's just going to be weird seeing him in a Buck uniform. And as for Phillip Rivers, congratulations, Colts. I do have y'all favorites to win the AFC South. And I also have to agree with this as well. For Colts fans, I do agree with the contract. But this is also an Indianapolis thing. The Colts have a lot of cap space, guys. A lot of cap space. And the reason why they do that, they like to pay the players that they drafted, that they produce, that they build up from the ground up. That is a Irsay thing. And he's trying to get Chris Ballard to do that system, but at the same time, Chris Ballard also wants to get some names and some veterans up there to also help out with the Indianapolis Colts organization. So as for the Colts right now, I do love the contract that you gave Phillip Rivers. Will it work out? Only time will tell. So
I just think it was a bit overpaid for 1 year for $25 million. I think if you're going to give somebody $25 million, it should be more than just 1 year. Mm-hmm. That's just my opinion. Like when it comes to like quarterbacks, but understanding if you really want to know what type of quarterback Phillip Rivers is with this Colts team, you should have paid him 1 year at least less than $20 million just to see what he could do.
1 year, 18 million or 1 year.
1 year, yeah, between 16 and 18 million, just to see what he could see if he still got it to play a couple more years in this league. I think $25 million was a little bit overboard for 1 year.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I like the quarterback tandem with him and Jacoby Brissett because at least Brissett is like an insurance policy. If your quarterback gets hurt, the fact that he can go and win games while the quarterback is healing up, I think, or even taking a day off, I think that's the best fit for the Colts. Chris Ballard's a genius with this, and and don't be surprised of what else Chris Ballard's got in his pocket.
Right. So let's get into the two trades that happened with these wide receivers. And I really want to get into the DeAndre Hopkins trade. Now, the Cardinals give up how many picks for DeAndre Hopkins?
It was a second round and a fourth rounder.
A second rounder and a fourth rounder and David Johnson to the Texans for DeAndre Hopkins. Now, I really want to get into not really the details of that trade, but I really want to get into what I heard today from Michael Irvin. I don't know if y'all heard. I don't know if y'all heard at all. I still had the video. I could play it right now because it's kind of disturbing to me, and it made me feel some type of way about, Bill O'Brien. So I'm gonna play this for y'all real quick, just to see what.
Don't keep it too long because that last video that we did.
All right, so hold up. Let me go back to it.
And he went into it. He told me, he said, Michael, it was a bit of a power struggle there because Coach O'Brien thought he had too much influence over the locker room. He called DeAndre Hopkins in a meeting to talk about this and to kind of just hash it out. In that meeting, he started the meeting with telling DeAndre Hopkins this that blew my mind when DeAndre told me this. He said, he told DeAndre Hopkins, he said, hey, the last time I had to have a meeting like this, it was with Aaron Hernandez. I was like, what? He put in Aaron Hernandez in this meeting? He said, yes, he did. He said, Michael, that blew my mind that he would even bring that up. I've never been in any trouble. I don't know why would he equate me with Aaron Hernandez. And from there, the meeting just deteriorated. He got into talking about DeAndre Hopkins, because DeAndre Hopkins has a few kids and from different women. And he said, he told DeAndre he doesn't like that he has his baby mamas around sometimes. And from that, I think the relationship just went bad. And thus, we got a trade of DeAndre Hopkins from Houston for basically, like I said earlier, a ham sandwich, all because of that relationship.
Wow. Marcus, what are your thoughts? I mean, I can't believe what I just heard.
And that is from Marcus Smith. That is the actual what I heard. That's what the conversation that Michael Irvin had with DeAndre Hopkins of what Bill O'Brien stated in that meeting. Now, I'm gonna let y'all take the floor on this one. How do y'all feel about this situation?
I think this explains a lot. I think this honestly explains a lot about the relationship, and not to mention the general managing power about Bill O'Brien. And the fact of the matter is I think Houston needs to be better than this. And here's the other thing. This isn't the first time that we've ever heard of a topic about something related to Houston on any levels. And I think that this now kind of sheds clarity about the, as they said, the chemistry in the locker room. And DeAndre Hopkins is not a bad guy. That's what, that kind of deceives a lot of people. And I think now for Michael Irvin to come out and say that in defense for DeAndre Hopkins, now it kind of shines the light on what the future may hold for the Texans. But I think at this point, with what had happened, I think now DeAndre Hopkins is going to showcase his skills to even a young kid in Kyler Murray in Arizona. And I think sometimes at that point, it might now share some clarity about Bill O'Brien, that he made the mistake, that now Houston, because we know that they got to pay guys. They know they got to pay a left tackle, pay Deshaun Watson. But at the same time, Bill O'Brien looked like he just took the first offer that came to him. And he didn't even think about, let me get a first rounder and a second rounder for DeAndre Hopkins, because you have to think of the price tag. But with that, I hope DeAndre Hopkins does great in Arizona, but this is really going to be one that Houston's going to talk about for a long time and say a lot of things.
And just not really to cut you off, just let you know, ESPN First Take did reach out to Bill O'Brien to see if he could have a response to that statement, and they could not reach out to Bill O'Brien due to that.
And I think that kind of shows. That kind of shows of exactly what the real truth is about Bill O'Brien, and even just the runnings with the Houston Texans. And the Texans have been known to be an organization that had just been a pendulum swing, and that's what's kind of, difficult for their organization and for the players that grow in this organization.
Ghoulie, I'm gonna let you go, man, because I know you cannot stand Bill O'Brien, but keep it clean, brother. Keep it clean.
Oh, Ghoulie about to bring out the trash can.
Nah, I think
I ain't got to bring out the whole trash can. I'm not going to do that. Bill O'Brien, you have now entered my zone. You know what? How dare you, Bill O'Brien? Let me just ask you something. You know what? I need somebody to look this up for me, even in the chat. Because this goes far from Bill O'Brien. Who the heck is the owner of the Texans right now?
That's a good question.
I want somebody to look it up, and then I'll get to Mr. Bill O'Brien. Because I'm ready to tear some people a new one.
Oh, my God. I'm nervous.
I'm going to keep it clean, brother. I'm going to keep it clean.
It's Robert C. McNair.
Robinson McNair.
Robert C. McNair.
Robert C, Robert Doe, Robert A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Why is Bill O'Brien still here? Bill O'Brien is the hack. Bill O'Brien, the same Bill O'Brien, I have to go reverend now, the same Bill O'Brien who had the Chiefs in his hands, had the whole game in his hands. But what happened? Bill O'Brien is the hack. You go for it on fourth down. Well, you should have punted the ball. But Bill O'Brien is a hack. You blew so many coaching opportunities. You've drafted so many pieces on defense that you really don't freaking need. Why is Deshaun Watson, running like a slave on a slave field for his life? He shouldn't be doing that. Deshaun Watson is your bread and butter. And if that man goes down, what happens? Your season's screwed. You know what? J.J. Watt doesn't deserve this. But freaking Deshaun Watson doesn't deserve this. Seriously. None of these players deserve anything. What's going on right now? Bill O'Brien is a hack. Bill O'Brien. Who's the owner one more time? Oh, I'm sorry. Owner irrelevant. You're the same owner who so spineless and gutless. I thought Mike Brown was terrible as an owner for the Cincinnati Bengals. You succeeded. You succeeded over Mike Brown. How does that happen? Bill O'Brien is your GM. Bill O'Brien is going to kill Deshaun Watson. Hell, he already has. You're going to kill J.J. Watt. You're going to ruin the people that you got in the draft. You're going to kill all of it. The word for Bill O'Brien is cancer. That's his name. And you know what you do when you find cancer, people. You cut it out. Bill O'Brien, for what you just said, and I swear that better not be true, that came out of Michael Irvin's mouth. That better not be true, because if it is, I'm going to do a separate video, and I always like to tear people a new one. And Bill O'Brien, Mr. Hack, I swear and pray. Do the Cardinals even play the Texans this season?
We don't know yet. We got to wait for the actual.
I really hope they do, and I really hope DeAndre Hawkins tears the Texans a new one. I'm willing to bet money on the Texans to lose by 40.
And how do you
compare him to Aaron Hernandez? What?
Yeah, what does Aaron Hernandez have to do with any of this? That's what kind of confused me.
That really confused me also.
I mean, is he trying to say that DeAndre is, I guess the last time I had this conversation, we was talking about Aaron Hernandez. I mean, besides the crap that happened with Aaron Hernandez, he still was a good on the field. So are you just mad that you have this top player that, everybody likes in the locker room, unlike you? I mean, for y'all to get rid of DeAndre Hopkins, who is one of the best receivers in the NFL, who got one of the best hands in the league, he damn near doesn't drop anything. I mean, he has his occasional drops, but the man catches everything that comes to him. If y'all to get rid of him, just for David Johnson, who was one of the elite running backs in this league, but now he done fell off. Y'all just trade him away instead of adding pieces to help Deshaun. So we're going to ride out.
Basically, this is the trade. This is the trade. I'm sorry, Key. This is the trade. You basically traded DeAndre Hopkins for Hubba Bubba Gum and old Tupac CDs.
Honestly, that is exactly right there.
Bill O'Brien is the hack. I want that in the chat right now. Hashtag Bill O'Brien is a hack.
So you
please let that be trending right now.
You pretty much trade DeAndre Hopkins and instead of putting other pieces around that and Deshaun, you trade him. For what? For why? For nothing. Yeah. Nothing.
You trade DeAndre Hopkins for 2 nickels and peanuts.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and
for 3 magic beans, thinking that a beanstalk will grow. Well, guess what? I ain't seen no beanstalk.
Right, and here's the other thing, and I know that we're going to be going into the next receiver that we're talking about, but think about the deal they got for him. You couldn't have tried any better or any harder to, at the very least, protect your future. And that's the case for Houston. Now they've got to pay a bunch of guys. And again, I hope that if you're going to do that, Deshaun Watson, I better see a deal that's like Russell Wilson's.
Right.
Because both those quarterbacks, what they have, I mean, yes, Deshaun can put himself in dangerous situations, but at the same time, arm accuracy, throws downfield, and will be able to get your team back into the game, regardless, regular season or even in the playoffs. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, I have to agree. I have to agree. And just for God's sake, just to let y'all know, you know who they replaced DeAndre Hopkins with? Randall Cobb.
Yeah.
Randall freaking Cobb.
Randall Cobb. Ooh. Okay. I need
the guy can do more than 10 games.
He's more injury prone than ever. Has he ever had a full season?
Last time he had a full season
he had was with Green Bay. That was it.
That was like his first couple of years in Green Bay, but after that, he's been injury prone since.
He didn't even have a full season with Dallas last year. Like, come on, Randall Cobb.
And they paid him for 3 years. I don't know what the actual detail, but I knew it was for like 3 years.
Now, you should have added him with a DeAndre Hopkins. I would have took that.
But this
seems like to me that Bill O'Brien is doing this because the MLB wouldn't do anything about the Astros. Jeez.
Well, and here's the other funny thing. Everything is suspended. I think we all got what we wanted. We all, baseball's now suspended. I mean, I will think a little bit of the coronavirus, but at the same time, it is a terrible situation. But here's the thing.
Bill O'Brien has the coronavirus. I'm sorry.
maybe so. And everybody's got to flee. Everybody's got to flee out of there, out of Houston. But long story short, if they had gotten a first round, because think about it, we've got 50 wide receivers in the draft. If you did not get a first rounder for DeAndre Hopkins, now look at all the wide receivers you're missing. You're missing CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Justin Jefferson. I mean, get at least a replacement.
Right. Yeah, get somebody younger at that actually can stay on the field, unlike Randall Cobb. But let's get into the actual wide receiver that we was going to talk about. Stephon Diggs to the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills gave up a lot for this, but Josh Allen has him a weapon, a real weapon. Mind you, this Buffalo Bills team went to the playoffs last year and I think they almost beat the Houston Texans last year.
Well,
so
not like almost. I think it should have. It became a circus show that like none of us even figured out what the hell was that.
Man, so just looking at Stephon Diggs, I want to pull. I don't know the actual let me pull up the details of this trade because this was like,
I think Buffalo gave him like 4 picks.
Buffalo gave them a a lifetime achievement award, a NCAACP
They
type.
got the Walter Payton
Well, I'm gonna
Award.
say this as a division rival for the Minnesota Vikings. I'm happy Stephon Diggs. I don't have to deal with that 2 games in a season. But I'm still we can cover Thielen. I ain't worried about Thielen. But the one thing I am mad with is Buffalo. Did you really have to send the entire future to Minnesota? This is the same Minnesota team that, need I remind you, that's about to get another new stadium in a couple of years because birds fly into the glass too much in the new one. So is there a reason why I'm not trying to be like all EDP like that one time of like saying this. You traded away the entire future for just one freaking person. But overall, I think, you know what, personally, in my opinion, Minnesota won this trade. I mean, and don't get me wrong, Buffalo, they do get an excellent wide receiver out the deal. They do. But I have this funny feeling, even though people are saying Buffalo are the favorites right now to win the East, because the Patriots are going to fall off unless they get somebody. But also, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. And, our boy's not with us. Boy's not with us today, and that's Gangrene David. But I think the Jets could also be, turning heads.
Well, according to this deal, it's saying Buffalo reportedly parted their first round pick along with their 5th round, their 6th round, and in this year's 4th round pick. No, so it's the first round, the 5th, the 6th, and this of this year. So it's 3 picks they gave up this year and a 4th round pick in 2021 in exchange for Diggs, and they get a 7th round pick this year. So they got a pick. So they got a draft pick in Stephon Diggs. They didn't give away everything, but they give away damn near. I don't know what pick they had in the 1st round, but I wouldn't have gave up a 1st round pick for him. I probably would have gave up the 5th and the 6th and or that 4th, but a 1st round pick, I'm not too sure about that.
Well, I'm going to shed some clarity up on this one because, as I've said, since going to the DeAndre Hopkins deal, okay, and with what Stephon Diggs. Think of the last couple of big-time receivers we saw get traded, okay? Each of them got traded 1st-round picks. And here's the deal. Since Minnesota gets that 1st-round pick, and as I mentioned about all of the young receivers coming into the draft, what's to say any of those young receivers come in and they're perfect-fitting duos next to Adam Thielen? Now, in Buffalo's mind, like most franchises when making moves like this, they have a feeling saying, you know what? Stephon Diggs fixes our problem. We have a true number 1 receiver that Josh Allen can throw to. Because look, I'll be honest, John Brown is not going to last this long. John Brown's a nice veteran receiver, and I think helps well with Stephon Diggs. But at the same time, you got to have somebody who's got fresh legs, can catch, and can score you touchdowns as well every time that Josh Allen throws the ball. So that's kind of where it's like, you know what? Whatever happens with the draft and whatever picks they get, then if we win the division and let's say we get into the AFC Championship game, what matters about those picks? I think that's usually what every franchise sometimes goes through. And that does happen. I mean, I cover this all the time with hockey with certain draft picks. If they get a big time guy, what is the point of the picks? And I think this is great for Buffalo. I think Buffalo now has really amped themselves up offensively because I will tell you this, Sean McDermott is maybe one of the most, I'm going to put it in this category, maybe the most undervalued coach that nobody values or nobody even talks about.
Because it's Buffalo. That's
exactly. Why. It's a Buffalo franchise, but their defense was stronger. Their offense, of course, was starting to click. And who knows? I think this is actually a pretty good, bright future. But on Minnesota's side, it's an even brighter future for them. But my only question I will always continue to ask and ask for this next year. Can Captain Kirk lead the Vikings to the promised land? One
survey says
he gotta win. He gotta win some prime time games first. He 0-9.
Exactly.
He's 0-9 in primetime games, but I give Kirk Cousins benefit of the doubt because of the fact that I understand you had Adam Thielen, I understand you had Kyle Rudolph, you had Stephon Diggs. But if you look at those games that he played in prime time, that offensive line did not block for him.
Yes.
Did not. He was like outside of Deshaun Watson and a few other quarterbacks that have been sacked a lot. Kirk Cousins was in the top 10 in that list of being most sacked. Understanding like it's easier to run block than it is to pass block. And I'm talking as a coach. It's easier to run block than it is to pass block. So of course, Dalvin Cook, they're gonna say, Dalvin Cook got all these yards with the Vikings because it's easier to run block. Pass block, you got to go up against the best edge rushers in the league and get a head start on the outside. That's hard. And that goes for any quarterback, not just Kirk Cousins. That goes for any quarterback. But those primetime games that he played against primetime teams had a primetime defense, and their offensive line could not hold up.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to think of the same similar issues when it comes to the Jets with Sam Darnold or the Houston Texans with Deshaun Watson. He's already had a torn ACL. Are you ready to tear the other leg up? That's where teams, it's the most important thing. It's the three tiers: head coach, quarterback, offensive line.
Mm-hmm. And and if you notice, I don't want to put my team out there, but look what happened when we did develop an offensive line for Derek Carr after he got hurt. Look what happened. Look what happened. The guy could complete 70% of his passes. Mm-hmm. You know, he does really well, but you know, your line makes everything else works. Mm-hmm. That's just my personal opinion on that. So let's get into the next topic here. And I want to talk about what Bob said in the chat. He said that the Pats are tanking for Trevor Lawrence. Do you think that is a possibility that Bill Belichick would tank to go get Trevor Lawrence in the draft, which is probably like what, next year?
I don't think Bill's that type of person to tank. I mean,
I will say this because I think again, people are gonna say it this way. They're gonna say, "Oh, Tom Brady won the divorce. He's gonna end up winning a Super Bowl with Tampa." But here's the other thing: Bill Belichick is also somebody we can never underestimate, because I'm sure that him and Bob Kraft have talked with each other consistently and have said, you know what? We're going to stick with Jarrett Stidham. And if they go 5-11, 4-12, you've got Trevor Lawrence right there. And that'll be, I'm not saying he's the next Tom Brady, but he'll be the next big thing. And look at what happened with Golden State. Golden State tanked this year. But then what's going to happen? If you hear news about Andrew Wiggins and draft picks, if they go to Milwaukee and get Giannis, you cannot underestimate organizations like that. They may have one slip year, but the next few years is what they're worried about.
And all those draft picks that Golden State have, I'm getting flashbacks of worry.
And you got to think about it too. There's a lot of draft picks that the Patriots have too, mind you. They still have draft picks from the Sanu trade.
That's exactly right. And that is why we cannot underestimate the New England Patriots for that long.
And the Patriots know how to trade down, they know how to trade up, and they know how to draft. Even if they go get a quarterback this year, it'll be a quarterback that fits their system.
And you have to think about it. Like I actually heard this earlier on the radio shows and some of the insiders, but just because the New England Patriots got bad luck with wide receivers and tight ends in certain places, what's the one position they know how to develop? That's quarterback. Mm-hmm. Because when Tom Brady got hurt, Matt Castle stepped in, and Castle became the next big thing. And then he goes to Kansas City, and Kansas City ends up winning a division, which that was an embarrassing year. I'll put that out there. But then also develops guys like Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett. So right. Bill knows how to develop these quarterbacks. So going and getting Trevor Lawrence, I think he's going to develop the next big thing.
How do you feel about this, Ghoulie? How do you feel about, they might be tanking for Trevor Lawrence?
They'd be tanking for Trevor Lawrence, be genius for the Patriots. But I don't think Bill Belichick is the type of coach that, tanking. I don't think it would happen. I mean, this is the same Patriots team that didn't make the playoffs when they were 11-5, 11-4, or 12-4 that
Yeah,
year.
They was 11-5 that year. That's when they had Matt Castle as a starter.
Yeah, and like I said, and here's the thing about the Patriots though. What if the Patriots don't tank? Need I remind you that Tom Brady was suspended for 4 games, and who carried that team to relevance for just those 4 games? Just a little 4 games.
Was it Garoppolo?
I don't know if it was. I think it was either Garoppolo or was it Jacoby?
He was 3-1.
Yeah, it was Garoppolo. He was 3-1.
My bad. Yeah, it was Garoppolo. He getting 3-1, and then Brady came back, and I guess we all know the story that happened there. But what I'm saying here is, whoever the backup QB will be for the Patriots, even if they do somehow, some way, probably get Jameis Winston, or give somebody like Jameis Winston a shot, or better yet, even if they did this, and this will also shock me if they did, and that was go to the Patriot, to get Cam Newton. You never can underestimate Bill Belichick, and I agree with Snake. You cannot underestimate the power of Bill Belichick. Mm-hmm. Bill Belichick in the NFL is like, who to, compare Bill Belichick to? I was going to compare him to Phil Jackson, but no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to compare him to another great genius mind in the NBA, and that is Greg Popovich. I mean, look what Greg did trading Kawhi, saying, why would we trade Kawhi to the same division so that way they can have, a better – why not trade him in the East? Well, if you say like the divorce, so to speak, Tom Brady going to the NFC, and I know a lot of teams are saying, "Oh, the AFC is up for grabs." It is, but you can never, ever underestimate the Patriots.
The Patriots are one thing, and even with the fact of we got the next big thing, Patrick Mahomes, we got the next great quarterback in the AFC. So with Tom Brady's reigning done, now it's now a lockdown for Patrick Mahomes. So AFC needs to watch themselves.
Even if Cam does go to the Patriots, you're not going to see him running a lot, even though he didn't run a lot in Carolina because he had Christian McCaffrey. But you got running backs there. You got Sony Michel, you got James White. So Cam wouldn't run as much. But what if they bring in Andy Dalton? Now, mind you, Andy Dalton is not that, to me, he was not bad. It just can't, in Cincinnati, he ain't had nobody to throw to. Just AJ Green. And when he got hurt, it went all downhill. Just think about it. You actually give him a line, you give him some weapons. Andy Dalton might be good with the Patriots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Andy Dalton might be good with the Patriots. I mean, I think if Andy Dalton is a free agent and if he does want to go to New England, I think Bill Belichick would make him a good hold up. Did my computer just froze? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
For some reason it froze. I don't know why my computer just froze.
I can hear you. You just frozen at the moment.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
But now he left.
You should remove yourself from the stream. So I think what he's saying with Andy Dalton, so I'm going to take over a little bit. What he's saying about with Andy Dalton, I do agree. I mean, with Andy Dalton, if they do make a move for the Bengals to make a, move to get Andy Dalton there, at least Andy Dalton has an offensive line. At least Andy Dalton can have real players. At least Andy Dalton won't be getting hurt like a sacrificial lamb to any other defenses. So, like for instance, like the Bills and the Jets or the Finns, and I can see where Brother Spotlight was going before he, internet became what it is today. But Andy Dalton to the Patriots wouldn't be bad. Cam Newton to the Patriots wouldn't be bad. Jameis Winston, oh, you know what? Yeah, it could happen.
Jameis is in a different category because whenever you go 30 for 30 and said you had a good season, something not right.
But you also have to look at Jameis Winston as the type of play style that he came into under Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians is the type of guy that likes to take risks, saying throw downfield. Jameis Winston can do that for you. And the other thing of it is, too, to go into Andy Dalton. And you're absolutely right. But here's the other thing. Cincinnati, not a well-ran franchise. And I'm not kind of, throwing Marvin Lewis under the bus and saying he wasn't a good coach. I think he was a good coach, but not as an elite as a Bill Belichick. So he might get some very, very good insight and maybe some great adjustments to his game. And I think that might help him well. Cam Newton, it's a little bit of a different story because I think it's a risk, because Bill's probably thinking to himself, do I really want to take the risk of Cam Newton, who we know how he acts in the locker room and what his style of play is? Like Cam Newton, I'll be honest, he's had one great year, and then that was it. That was absolutely it. And he's become, and I know you've heard me say this, D, but he's become the Russell Westbrook of the NFL. That's bottom line. He can run, but he will not give you the downfield throws.
So speaking of Cam Newton, and I just had to let you know that a former Raider just signed to the Browns on a 1-year deal. Our former safety, Carl Joseph, has signed a 1-year deal to the freaking Cleveland Browns.
Hey, Cleveland, now I'm going to say this about Cleveland. The ball is on Mo Baker now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the ball's in his court. Absolutely. The ball is in his court.
The ball is on his court. It's just like with Trubisky last year. Well, now this year, the ball is on Trubisky's court. How about Trubisky to the Patriots? Nah, Damian Estrada. Nah.
Well, speaking of Cam Newton, I really want to get into, Cam Newton and Jameis Winston. I'm going to make this a 2-part thing because, I want to put these two into one topic. And I say that because what is next for Jameis Winston and what is next for Cam Newton? Because we all knew that Jameis Winston always was a starter with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sometimes he got benched, sometimes he didn't. And I feel like when it comes to Jameis Winston, I don't know if he needs a new scenery to start all over, knowing that he had all those years in Tampa Bay. But do y'all think that Jameis Winston can be a starter in this league on a certain team? And do you think Cam Newton, matter of fact, forget all that. Where do y'all see these two quarterbacks going? Do you see them starting wherever they're going, or you see them being backups wherever they're going?
Well, I think
I could see.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, it's Nick. You can go.
So I think with two of these quarterbacks, now this is what's kind of distinguishing the two of them. Let's start with Jameis Winston. Yes, absolutely. I still believe he's a starting quarterback in this league. Now, a change of scenery may be exactly the best thing that needs to happen for him. And I think also, too, you have to keep in mind that, and I know it's not usually a big deal, but the fact that he just got LASIK surgery done on his eyes, and maybe that could be the issue as to why he performed the way that he has after all these years. But I've been having talks of, if the Chargers had gotten Jameis Winston, I think that the receivers that the Chargers do have can go downfield. They can run those routes. And Jameis, all he would have to do is put the ball in their hands and throw them into the right routes. And I'm sure that having a different change of scenery can help because it'll change his perspective a little bit. But at the same time, for Cam Newton, it's a really, really hard situation because at this point, all these quarterbacks are all kind of shifting in different places. And then not to mention, we've got all the quarterbacks coming into this year's draft. And for Cam, I'm sorry to say, but Cam, this league is running away from him. Mm-hmm. This is a league now that is filled with not just running quarterbacks, but these are quarterbacks with arm accuracy. They run out of the pocket to create space, and they make better judgment calls. I cannot have a quarterback go from, his QB rating is at 80, then his QB rating goes down to 50, if not 45. I can't have those consistent years of this. And that's where franchises kind of look at that and says, you know what, if Cam can develop himself as a backup quarterback, then that's not such a bad thing. I've been getting, notifications about the Chargers doing that kind of issue, but honestly, I wouldn't want him on the Chargers with that particular reason, because the question now to Cam is, can you deal with being a backup quarterback? And that's not going that's not going to be sound for him, in his opinion.
Yeah, I mean, with Cam Newton, I can see Cam Newton still. I mean, as a backup, I can't see it. It all depends on where he goes. So, like for instance, like let's say if he got traded to Washington. Okay, yeah, I can see him as a backup there. Or if he was, let's say, if he was traded to Detroit. Well, actually, no. Like I don't know how Gridiron Blitz would feel, but and that is what if he went to the Lions? If Matthew Stafford decided, oh, I'm not coming back or whatever. Or better yet, I mean, the Vikings. Well, Bears fans, get that out your head because we're not getting Cam. So, but the one thing I will say about with Cam, I mean, even though Snake I might get bit by the snake, but I believe that he could be a Charger. I mean, the Chargers, it all depends how desperate you need a quarterback. And I think, that maybe Los Angeles is probably one of those teams. Jameis Winston, on the other hand, maybe Denver. No, maybe Denver.
Nah, Denver's too locked in on Drew Lock as they're going to be their starter.
Who's the QB in Miami?
I mean, we can go to Miami as a backup, or also, there's also I can also see, and this is just me, if Winston wants to reamp his career, which I believe he should, why not go to the XFL? Just to revamp his
Cam
career.
Newton or Jameis Winston?
Jameis Winston.
That
would help his career.
Oh, he's playing Canada.
Or he can play in Canada ball. I mean, look at look like for the Bears, they got Trey Robertson, and that dude was killing it in the Canada League, and now it's up his time to play in the big leagues. So, or people like Iverson Vlog saying he could be a backup for the Steelers, and no, the Steelers will not want to take that risk with that. I mean, to be honest, knowing the Steelers, they probably are looking for a quarterback young, but at the same time, they got rid of their first round pick.
Brady. Sure, why not be a backup for Brady?
Mm-hmm. That would be my thing if you back him up for Ben Roethlisberger, because let's be honest, Ben's not going to last in this league for way too long. How many concussions has he really had? 3, and he's going on a 4th one. Like there's only so much that your brain can take. But I mean, that's not a bad idea. I think Mike Tomlin is another guy that I think can. I like, honestly. People say crap about Mike Tomlin, but I like him. I really, really do like him. After Big Ben goes down,
I can see Jameis Winston going to Pittsburgh. I can actually see that.
Yeah, because the thing is he can revamp his game, better judgment calls as a quarterback, and Big Ben can work with his game on that. Because Big Ben is one person that's not afraid to take risks, no matter how many injuries he's put himself in. But he's the type of quarterback that will lead Pittsburgh to where they want to be in the AFC North.
Well, this is still the same Ben Roethlisberger who's been telling fans that we need to follow him.
Yeah.
No, we don't. I mean, we don't need to follow him. Absolutely not.
No, and that's the problem. That's the problem that I have with Big Ben. I think he's very, very immature for his age. He really is. And I just love the fact that people, in Pittsburgh say, "Oh, he's a true leader for the Steelers." I don't even think he's a true leader. Because, I don't even think Ben Roethlisberger is a true leader. I don't think he is.
I think he used to be. I think he used to be a leader until he got older in age, to a point where injuries really messed with his mindset. He was not playing the risk Ben Roethlisberger that we saw when he first started playing, like, oh, I could get up for any hit. But age comes with that. So with Ben Roethlisberger right now, I wouldn't even want him as a starter right now. I just don't think he's a starter right now anymore. And I feel like, honestly, I'm gonna be honest, Phillip Rivers is having a better career than Ben Roethlisberger in the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. Not in the last 5 years, but in the last 2 years, 2 to 3 years, Phillip Rivers been having a better career than Ben Roethlisberger. And that's just what I've seen, knowing less injuries from Phillip Rivers than it is from Ben Roethlisberger. But hopefully we wish the best for Cam Newton and Jameis Winston. Hopefully Cam Newton can probably stay in Carolina and back up Teddy Bridgewater.
I think Kyle gonna get that job backing up because Kyle came in and didn't do bad for Cam when he got hurt.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Cam. Speaking of what Cam said on the Twitter, I don't know if y'all saw. Not on Twitter. I don't know if y'all saw on Instagram where the Panthers, put up an Instagram post saying that, they asked Cam Newton asked permission to seek a trade, and Cam Newton wrote this long behind status under it saying that he really wanted to stay in Carolina, and Carolina's making me do this. And I understand Cam Newton is a running type of quarterback, and Matt Rule know how to change organizations. He know how to change programs, and I feel like Teddy Bridgewater fits the system better than Cam Newton. That's just my personal opinion. People can say, "Oh, Cam Newton fits better because of the zone read." We must not forget that Teddy Bridgewater at Louisville, that's all he did was zone read. That's all he did. And he threw for 5,000 yards in college. So it's that's where he comes from. So I feel like right now, Teddy Bridgewater is the younger quarterback than Cam Newton is. So I will go with the younger quarterback than Cam Newton. So yeah.
But that's also the difference between the two is Teddy Bridgewater can be coachable. And here's the point too, because of a lot of people that think, well, what if he went to Washington? Ron Rivera, who has had experiences with Cam, doesn't want anything to do with Cam. And the fact that the Panthers sent that out saying that they're asking permission to seek a trade, it's because Carolina doesn't want him. Nobody in that organization wants anything to do with Cam because, as usual, like Russell Westbrook, cannot change his game. He's not as coachable as most people think that he is. And that's what, again, this is what showed it after the 2015 Super Bowl. After that, it was complete inconsistencies, and he has not won that NFC South division since then. It's been it had been Matt Ryan, and then mostly it has been Drew Brees. But that's where Carolina, they want to start fresh. That's what the new owner came in and said, I'm starting fresh. I'm getting a new head coach. I'm getting a new quarterback. They want nothing to do with Cam. The Cam era is over.
Okay. So we see we got the Cam Newton situation out of here.
I'll take Jameis as a backup. He can be a backup for Wentz.
Honestly, I think he could take Wentz's spot, but we will get into that though. We will get into that. We will get into each of our teams' grade on free agency within the last 3 days. Not anything that happened after today. It happens after today, but in the last 3 days, we're going to grade our teams, and we're going to see how do y'all feel about your free agents and trades that actually happened. So.
Please,
I know I had the most out of all of us. I know the Raiders have the most free agent signings out of all of us here. But if anybody want to go first, I could go last because I know we got
I'm going to go first. I'm going to give the Philadelphia Eagles a grade N. N for no effort. You let Malcolm Jenkins walk. You let him go back to Carol. You let him go back to the Saints. The Saints gave him 4 years, $32 million. He's back with the Saints. You sign Jalen Mills 1 year, and then you move him to safety. You bring back Rodney McLeod for 2 years. We won't have no corners. And then you bring back Nate Sudfeld for a year. He was the third string quarterback. This is why I said I'll take Jameis as a backup. If Wentz, God forbid, something happens to Wentz, who the hell is throwing the ball? Then I'm sitting here looking at all these notifications on my phone. I'm like, ooh, Mari Cooper stays. Okay, Dallas gives him a deal. And then all these wide receivers, and then we got all these defensive players going here, going there. And who do we go get? Somebody from Pittsburgh? Do you really? This is all we're doing? Now I don't know if Howie got something up his sleeve in the draft. I don't know if he's trying to move up from this 21 spot to grab one of them stud receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Jefferson. They're all out there. This is like a wide receiver class this year. So if he has something up his sleeve to go grab one of these, okay. But us Eagles fans out here looking at these free agents going, what are you doing? Are you just going to do nothing? So yes, they get a grade N for no effort. Next.
God.
Well,
That rant was brought to you by Key in the Building.
Well, I guess I'll be the next one to start this grade then, because over and all, as I've said, everybody in this chat room has a quarterback except for my favorite team. But I will give the Chargers an A- on this particular free agency. Now, I know it's only been about the 3 days, but I'm only taking one that has been last week. They go and fill the guard spot with Trey Turner, which was the most important position that they lacked from last year. The inside guard that kept attacking Phillip Rivers and creating sacks. And that was the most important position that lacked the most. Now, after the last couple of days, they go and re-sign Austin Eckler for 4 years, which I think was great because Eckler gives you two things. He runs and he catches, and he's very efficient. And they go and franchise tag Hunter Henry, which was the safest thing because if they let Hunter Henry walk, the Patriots could have easily taken him. And they could have told Tom, we've got our tight end. We've got one for you. Stay in New England. But good thing the Chargers did not make that happen. But in the best respects, too, they go and fix the offensive line. Finally, they fix the line. They go and get a tackle. They go and get Brian Bulaga, who I really think he's only got maybe about a few years in the tank, but he knows how to play his position. And they've also upgraded the defense. Linval Joseph, Chris Harris. I mean, my God, that is a defense. Like I told you guys, I do not want to relive 2012 again. I don't, because 2012, when Peyton Manning signed with Denver, all the defense went to Denver, and some of them went to Kansas City. And so with that, that's an insurance policy for the Chargers, that if anything was to happen on defense, they got plenty of depth. But the offensive line was the most important key coming into this offseason, and I think that was the best thing. So whoever goes in quarterback, whether it's Tyrod Taylor, or if we look in the draft, Tua, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, they're going to have a hell of a time playing at quarterback, knowing they've got safety up front of them in their offensive line, and they've got weapons. So whether Tom wanted to or he didn't, I think the Chargers, they deserved an A- today. I'm very, very proud of them.
Malguli.
Well, I'm going to say this right now because I'm seeing it from Miami Canes all day, and I'm seeing it from Damian Estrada. You know, they're the Bears. Okay, let's be real. If you saw Monday Night Raw, our Monday Night Raw live stream, when I heard that the Bears got Jimmy Graham, my mood went from happy to goddamn depressing. But as an intellectual, I will give that signing a B, a solid B. And here's the reason why. We don't know how 100% Trey Burton is going to be. We don't know. He missed the whole season. We don't know. And you know what? My brother Spotlight shed the light on me because it's actually true, and all Bears fans need to get a damn grip and just look what's in front of you. Let's be real. Who did Trubisky throw it to all the time, guys? That was Allen Robinson. He barely threw it to the speedster Taylor Gabriel. He barely threw it to Adam Shaheen. He barely threw the ball. You see what I'm getting at here? He didn't have a true second option. Now he does. He has a second option in Jimmy Graham. And I believe that Jimmy Graham is the type of leader to get these younger players like Calvin Ridley's little brother. And it seems to me that he might be the third option, in my opinion, because it seems like he can catch into traffic. He can, can be that third option. You see what I'm saying here? With Jimmy Graham, he can take all these young receivers, even a very young Trey Burton, and basically lead them into, doing things that, what we didn't get last year. Also, people say, oh, Green Bay. Oh, Green Bay. They couldn't do anything with Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. So whose fault is that? Is it Jimmy Graham's fault that he couldn't adjust with Aaron Rodgers, or was it the quarterback, Matt, or was it the quarterback, or better yet, was it the head coach, Matt LaFleur? We don't know, guys. We don't know what goes on in those locker rooms. But you know what? The deal that they gave Jimmy Graham was actually pretty good. At first, I thought $9 million guarantee was a bit of a step, but you know what? To be honest, I'm cool with it. It gives Trubisky a second option. You never know what's going to happen, Bears fans. And also, need I remind you, Green Bay hasn't really done anything in free agency. Think about that for a minute. Think about that. We hate Green Bay. We hate Green Bay. We hate Green Bay. We hate them. I hate them. But let's be real, they haven't done a thing in free agency. Because you know why? They don't have the particular cap to get anybody. They want to do it in the draft. They spent over millions. I'm thinking nine figures into getting Aaron Rodgers, that defense that didn't even show up when it really mattered against the 49ers. So what I'm saying here, having Jimmy Graham literally coming to Chicago was a good thing. And you know what? Knowing the Bears the way I do, draft pick wise, we need to draft, but that's going to be later on. Now the second signing, Khalil Mack. Let's be real. When Akeem Hicks was down and Goldman wasn't, there, and even with Leonard Floyd with his injuries, Khalil Mack kind of need a little bit of help with that defense. Did he or did he not, y'all? Could y'all agree?
He did, because he didn't get a sack on us.
He had to bring that game up. But
Thanks for Josh Jacobs. I'll take it.
Yeah, but that's true. But yeah, thank you for David Montgomery too. I'll take it too. But also, I'm gonna say this.
Back?
No, we're not gonna get to that spotlight. I mean, at least my team didn't choke to not make the playoffs. Yeah, I had to go there. But anyway, the second signing. Yeah, you had shake your head because you already know. So they now got Khalil Mack, another weapon. Khalil Mack. They gave Mack another player partner, another pass rushing partner to play with, and that is Robert Quinn. Granted, the contract is a little bit on the stippy side, but at the same time, Robert Quinn is still a good pass rusher. He had a great year last year, 11.5 sacks last year. You kidding me? People say the Bears the best 7 in all of football. Their defense. It is true. That is the best 7 in all of football. That used to be, let's be also real, before Mac was even there, the Bears are already a top 10 defense before they even had Mac. And then when they had Mac, they became a top 5. This year, I think Chicago was a top 5, a top 10 this last season. And now you added Robert Quinn, another pass rusher. You're either going to get eaten alive by him or you're going to get eaten alive by Khalil Mack. And if you even try to run the ball, you're going to get hit by Akeem Hicks or you're going to get hit by Eddie Goldman. I'm saying right now, and this is just a steep, I believe the Bears have the best pass rushing defense in the whole entire NFL. And adding Robert Quinn really gives that. So I'm going to give that one a solid A-.
So what's your overall grade in the last 3 days? What is your
the last 3 days?
Yeah,
It's
your
gonna be
overall
better
grade.
it's going to be better than the end.
Overall, it's a solid B+. Because also getting Nick Foles also, was a good thing. And I'm gonna tell you why. Nick Foles and Bears fans, you need to really pay attention instead of judging, saying, "Oh, he's a backup." Oh, just stop. Didn't the man win a Super Bowl as a backup?
He was the starter majority of the playoffs. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, pretty much because Carson Wentz couldn't stay healthy for the life of him.
That's
so I'm gonna say this about Nick Foles. Nick Foles was a good pickup, y'all. And look at our coaching staff. Matt Nagy knows how to work with Foles. Our offensive coordinator knows how to work with him. Our new offensive lineman and special teams coach knows how to work with Nick Foles. Either way, y'all, this trade was good. Overall, the Bears did good in these last 3 days. B+. Bears fans, calm the freak down. Let's laugh at Green Bay. They haven't done anything.
All right, so I guess I am the last one to talk about free agency. Now, I'm going to break down free agency the way I think is right for my readers. I think we went out and filled a lot of needs on the defensive side and on the offensive side. Now, the first one is Marcus Mariota. I love this pick by Marcus Mariota. I love this signing. We don't know the actual details. The details really didn't come out yet for Marcus Mariota coming to the Raiders, but this is why. In the last 6 years that Derek Carr has been there, he has not had no quarterback competition. Not once. To actually come and actually fight for a job. And I think Marcus Mariota can fight for the job, but will he win it? No. But do I like it just in case, God forbid, something happens to Derek Carr? Yes. I love it just because that every time Derek Carr got hurt, we never had a solid backup. Never had a solid backup. And John Gruden loves him. He was at John Gruden's quarterback camp. Mike Mayock loved him in the draft coming out of University of Oregon. Marcus Mariota can win in this league, and it showed that he can win in this league. He won a playoff game on the road in this league against a Kansas City Chiefs team. We've seen that before. But Marcus Mariota is going to be, Leafs defense says Mariota pulls a Tannehill. I don't see that happening. Depending on what we do in the draft with the wide receiver position. That's another story for another time. And the second one, former Bear, Nick Kwiatkowski. I love this pick. I think this was the most underrated pick in free agency. I don't care what nobody say. This is the most underrated pick in free agency. And I'm gonna tell you why, because if you go look at my video, when I did a breakdown on him and you see the highlights, you see how he went to the football sideline to sideline, and he's only 20 to 24 years old. He's young. We got him on a 3-year deal for like $20-something million. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. I love that pick from the Raiders. I'm like, okay, the Raiders are addressing needs where we need it, which we released Tahir Whitehead that couldn't cover a soul last year. So Nick Kwiatkowski was such a great pickup, and he was very underestimated in free agency. I don't know how he flew under the radar the way that he played last year. I just don't understand how he flew under the radar, knowing that I ranked him in the top 10 linebackers in free agency. I had him at number 6 in my free agency. And then yesterday, we had a huge splash with Corey Littleton from the Rams. Now you get Nick Kwiatkowski in day 1. You get Corey Littleton in day 2. I was in shock. I could not say anything about it. I loved every bit of the Corey Littleton trade. 3 years, $36 million is a possibility he could get 13. He could get between 11 and $12 million a year. We got him for a good budget. We did not break the bank with Corey Littleton at all. And I loved every bit of it. The guy can cover. He could play special teams. He could stop the run. He's 26 years old, so he's young. We have 2 young linebacking cores. I love it. I love it. And then when we just imagine at number 19, we get like a Kenneth Murray or a Patrick Queen to add, or even if Isaiah Simmons drops to 19, just imagine that linebacking core. We actually, address that need. And then we get to 3 Dallas Cowboys.
And also, you guys got fleeced by Miami twice.
I'm not really worried about Miami because Byron Jones. I'm kind of happy that we didn't get him because he would have broke the bank. We would have had no cap space if we would have got Byron Jones. So thank you, Miami, for breaking the bank because you probably had the most cap space than all other 31 teams in the NFL. But yeah, let's go. So, Jason Witten. Now, Jason Witten was a very interesting pickup for 1 year, $4.75 million. I like it because that we're young at the tight end position, knowing that Darren Waller had a great year. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to a pass blocking tight end, I don't think nobody in the league is better than Jason Witten at that. I don't think nobody really better than Jason. I mean, you could probably say a Travis Kelce or a George Kittle, but Jason Witten is right up there with them as far as run blocking. We got Foster Moreau from LSU last year. We did get him. So bringing veteranship to that, I'm not really too bad about, but it was kind of a question mark to me. And then we go and get, out of these 3 Cowboys, I'm saying Malik Collins is the best one to me. And I'm going to tell you why. The guy is only 24 years old. He could stop the run. And he's good. He's good. And according to Pro Football Focus, they had him in like the top 5 in run stopping in the D tackle position, knowing that PJ Hall and Maurice Hurst, you got competition in that area, buddy. Y'all might lose your jobs because the boy can run. The boy can tackle. And we picked up Jeff Heath from the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Jeff Heath is a very underrated safety, but he's not one of the best safeties that we have. He's going to be the 3rd or 4th safety option on our draft board, but I love him in special teams. I think he's great in special teams, and he could be a backup kicker at the safety position. That's the crazy part. Hey, I like that. I like that he could play multiple positions on his team. And then who else did we get? Carl Nassib. Carl Nassib, the defensive end from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This guy had over 13 and a half sacks in the last 2 years. And he's one of the best run-stopping defensive ends in football, up and coming in football. He's young. He came over from the Browns. He went to Tampa Bay. He balled down in Tampa Bay. And if y'all need to go look at my videos, I put the highlights while I'm talking about it. Y'all need to go look at it. The guy has so many tackles for loss. And you put him in a rotation with Cleveland Farrell and Max Crosby? Are you serious right now?
Did you mention Littleton too?
Yeah, I did Littleton.
Okay.
Littleton's a linebacker though.
And don't forget about Eli Apple.
Oh, we gonna get to that. We gonna get to that dumb behind signing. we gonna get to that. But Carl Nassib was definitely good for us. He's definitely gonna be good for us. I really do like him. We only got him on a 2-year deal, so we're not giving anybody like a max contract on this defense. We're not giving anybody a max contract so we could go out and get a wide receiver and go get some other weapons on defense. But I hate this pick right here, and that's Eli Apple. I don't understand why we went out and got Eli Apple because I had my draft. I had my pick. I had my free agency at a B+ for the Raiders until we got Eli Apple.
It went to a C.
I said a B minus, not a C. A low B minus, but not a C. But
Okay, so B minus C plus. Okay.
yeah, B minus C plus type of it. The guy had no interceptions last year. Not one.
What team was he at?
He was with the Saints last year. Not one interception.
Ugh.
Not one.
And talk about a big rant and raving corner coming out of New York and going into New Orleans at the time. Oh, man.
A big corner that was
Michael Blackston's nephew,
which is a 10th overall pick from Ohio State, where Ohio State produced good corners. I'm lost. I'm confused. Like, why did we go? I'm understanding that we went out. I understand that you went after him for cheap, but you had a Chris Harris and an Xavier Rhodes out there. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
luckily, because there's still a chance of Xavier Rhodes, I'm sure. I don't know exactly how they'll deal with their corner depth, but I mean, you still do have Xavier Rhodes out there. Unfortunately, Chris Harris, sorry to say that, but him being off the board, yeah, that's going to create a lot of questions.
Chris Harris turned down. I understand why he turned down the Raiders because I know it's a rivalry, but you went to another rival in the Chargers, so I'm lost. What did the Chargers have that we did? I'm lost. Did you see? I understand how Chris Harris did not see what we were doing in free agency on the defensive side. I'm lost.
I'm sure the thought of it is, and nothing against the Raiders at all, because here's the thing: the Raiders are a developing organization that they're only getting better. So even with the draft picks that they got, I mean, this is going to be a competitive team in the AFC West. As I've said, you got to have capable young guys against Patrick Mahomes and most young quarterbacks when they make it in this league. So if you don't have that, where in the Raiders case, I think it was kind of hard letting go of Carl Joseph, but at the same time, if you don't have the right secondaries up over there, you're going to get burnt out on deep ball plays. But I'm sure with what Chris Harris, what he looked at is the fact of having Casey Hayward, Nazir Adderley, Derwin James. There is a secondary saying, you know what? I could produce with this secondary. And I could also
we have a young talent in Trayvon Mullen which did very well last year, and a hard hitting safety that's coming back in Jonathan Abram. So
yeah, absolutely.
We had that there, and he could have been a number one corner. He's not going to be a number one corner in LA. He's not.
No, and I truly don't expect him to be, because right now the number one corner, honestly, is Casey Hayward. That's the number one corner, and if you want to talk safety, you got Derwin James, who's the number one safety.
Right. So it went from a B minus when we got Eli Apple, man. I was not too impressed. But Mike Mayock, I'm not going to, go off on you, Mike Mayock. Not just yet, because I know what you could do with developing players. And then hopefully Paul Guntner can do something with Eli Apple and try to revive his career. Do something with it, because I just didn't like that. But overall, I give it a B minus. Slightly a C plus, not just because Eli Apple, but Jeff Heath was kind of one of the weaker ones on the safety side as well. But we all know that he is a special team specialist more than anything. But I do like, that. And yes, Jay Rader, understand that there's no tax in Vegas, Chris Harris. It's no tax.
And that goes for all players out there.
It's everybody that's a free agent right now that's on the defensive side. It's no tax in Vegas. Take advantage of it. So I give that, a B minus / C plus. But winners and losers of this free agency within 3 days. It can be any team. It don't have to be your team. Well, can I get it out? My God.
No.
My God.
Well, no. Let's start with the one side, because we know there's two sides to every story. So let's start with the winner's side. Let's start with the three teams that won this. I'll start with this. I think the teams that won, obviously the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are one team because the fact of they got Tom Brady and they got the fact that they made him the big promise that he's got weapons around him. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, OJ Howard. And here's the other thing. Buccaneers may not be done yet, and they may go and sign Melvin Gordon tomorrow. So you've got a promising offense with great running back depth and great wide receiver depth. But here's the other thing. They retained Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul. Now, there may be one more, and they're either looking to getting Ndamukong Suh back or they're going to find a replacement on the defensive tackle side because you are still going to need a secondary guy to get to the quarterback if your defensive end is not on his A game. But from what I've been told, the secondaries, they're young and they like to kind of keep that kind of personnel, but they're very good guys. They can get up to wide receivers depending on the speeds and their the speed, the agility, and of course the matchups. These are good matchups that the secondaries can hold their ground. Tampa Bay definitely are the winners here in this one. My number twos, I think the number two winning team on this one was I think the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers on this one. They've got Teddy Bridgewater, and this is another franchise that is also becoming a clean slate. Brand new owner, brand new coach, and they've got a new quarterback. They're done with Cam Newton. But what's to say that Teddy Bridgewater can now elevate this team even more to become competitive in the AFC South? With the fact of Christian McCaffrey, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, and as you pointed out before, that Matt Rule's the kind of person that knows how to change programs. What's to say that he can't take Carolina, who are kind of on the ends of being good or bad, and turn this into a better franchise, a franchise that wins more games than where they were last year? I think Carolina definitely got themselves the good one here. And finally, I think the winners, the winners up on this one, honestly, I have to say was my Chargers. The Chargers definitely got what they wanted, a healthy offensive line. They got exactly what they needed. Plus, they also got best insurance policies for that defense. And one of them just mentioned too, I totally forgot, Desmond King. Desmond King's another good secondary right there. So at least Chris Harris doesn't have to feel like he is a number one. He doesn't. And there's plenty of depth offensively and defensively. The only thing that's going to solidify this franchise is who their starting quarterback for the franchise is. But because I tell you, it is not Tyrod Taylor. I'm only waiting on the draft to seeing if it's going to be Jordan Love or Justin Herbert. But, some notables, I think the Cardinals were good, but I still think the Cardinals need a little bit more. But those right there are my three: the Bucks, the Panthers, and the Chargers. Those were my winners.
My winners, I have the Bucks. I definitely have the Bucks there. The Bucks, and you already explained it, but the Cardinals just got better offensively, getting DeAndre Hopkins. Now they do keep Kenyon Drake as their running back as well. So now you have a Larry Fitzgerald that's probably, he's up there in age, but you have to defend DeAndre Hopkins, which it opens it up for Larry Fitzgerald. And then they have Christian Kirk over there as well. So I love the winners for the Arizona Cardinals. I really like what they did in free agency. They didn't do much, but that was the biggest blow to me, to get DeAndre Hopkins on the NFC, where you have the Marcus Colstons of the world. You have good wide receivers in the NFC, and you just bring another great wide receiver to the NFC. Makes me look the AFC a little bit more weaker than what we expect. But my God, the Arizona Cardinals, I can say, I feel like the Buffalo Bills is kind of under the radar. I understand Stephon Diggs. I understand they gave up a lot, but defensively, they're still good. Offensively, they still have all their weapons. And going on against Stephon Diggs, a deep threat that you can help Josh Allen with his deep ball, get them over the hump. They got the offensive line. They got Cole Beasley in the slot. They still got a Frank Gore that can still do, on second and third down or first and second down. And you got another guy, his name is Singletary. I think he plays for the Bills as well as like a backup for Frank Gore as well. So I do like what the Buffalo Bills did in free agency. And just like you said, Snake, I would say my Raiders, but my Raiders did really good. They did really good, but the Carolina Panthers, I have to agree with you there. Carolina Panthers, Teddy Bridgewater, like I said, he fits the system. He fits the system what Matt Rule wants to run. So only thing I see that they're lacking at is at running back. If they could go out and get a running back in the draft, which is one of the deepest running backs underratedly in this year's draft, get like if DeAndre Swift definitely falls to them, I'll say get a DeAndre Swift to go with that Carolina Panthers team. But yeah, I'll say the Panthers, the Cardinals, and the Buffalo Bills are the winners for me.
I'm gonna say Miami. Here's why: because they pick up Jordan Howard. They end up getting Groomer Hill from the Eagles as well. So he goes down there. He's a good special teams person. And then they got Byron Jones. To beef up they defense a little bit. So I mean, they got some key ingredients. They got some key people down there. I still think, they're up and coming. They still need to add more pieces. And you saw last year, they won games who didn't think nobody was going to beat. They beat the Eagles and some other teams. So, I mean, you give Miami little pieces like that to get a rebuild, and Miami would be fine. So, Miami had their moments. But, of course, Tampa Bay adding Tom Brady. Of course, that was the big key there to help Tampa Bay out. And also Carolina getting Teddy Bridgewater. And then Arizona getting DeAndre. So, I mean, all those teams who got good pieces, I think they're winners too. So you just can't leave everybody out. But I think those like the top ones who did pretty good in the free agent.
For my winners, number one, you know what? I gotta say, D's probably gonna have a big, big smile on his face. But the Raiders is number one to me. I mean, they did what they had to do in that linebacking core. And you know what? They succeeded. They really succeeded. They did a good job here. They really did.
Break the bank either. That's the crazy part.
And you know what the crazy part is? Like, I can see the Raiders doing good, but as long, you know what? I'm not even going to go to that. That's for
No, go there. Go there, because I want to hear this.
You know how much I hate John Gruden. So, I don't know. Hopefully, John Gruden can do something with this. Because if not, I don't see this defense backfiring. I really don't. But that was the biggest key for the Raiders last year, was their defense. Mm-hmm. But I think they're going to bounce back. Now, the ball is it's not even, it's mostly on the players' court, but it's also the ball of John Gruden's court.
Same thing for Matt Nagy when Foles gets there.
Yeah, that's the same with Matt Nagy. I'll get to Nagy. But the Raiders are number one. Number two, as a winner, we have Arizona as a winner. What do they win, Johnny? Well, they get a DeAndre Hopkins for dirt cheap.
For 2 nickels and peanuts.
Not for Hubba Bubba Gum and old Tupac CDs.
Hold up. If the Tupac CD, is it the double disc or the single disc?
The double disc. Okay. Platinum.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
Platinum. Oh, with a free digital copy of Hail Mary. Okay.
Come with me.
Wait, is the booklet inside the CD?
Yes. And also, you know what? Another thing is too, and I know another winner in this draft, and it's not draft, it's free agency pool. Number three has to be, gotta be. I know a lot of people are gonna be, or probably might be shocked with this, but maybe number 3 has to be the Colts.
Yeah,
I'm not the biggest Colts fan, and I live in Indianapolis. But hey, congratulations, Colts fans! I can probably go to 2 games this season, and I probably might live stream it because I'm me. Now, can we get to losers? Losers.
Well,
Can I go
quick,
first with the losers?
I will say
Yes.
real quick about the Colts. Like, honestly, I had the prediction that Jadeveon Clowney was going to end up going to the Colts because I thought that would have been a beautiful fit. And the Colts needed a defensive end, but they got it even better. They got an even better player. So that's why I'm like, I think the Colts is definitely not a team to sleep on.
That would have been a splash. But let me go to my losers, man. Let me go to my losers. And I have to say, under the radar, I have to say the New York Giants did really good in free agency as well. That's definitely an honorable mention. Shout out to the New York Giants. Shout out to Entertainer Talking Sports. He's been covering mad Giant stuff, man. The guy grew his channel off of just Giants content. Miami Canes all day. What's the Bears fans channel? His name is Mal Gooley. I'm gonna put his thing on the banner here once we get at the thank you, Mal Gooley, for putting it in the chat. But the Redskins, what the hell are y'all doing? What in the world are y'all doing? What in the Thanksgiving dinner Indians and what y'all doing? I'm lost.
This is Raiders fans right now. It's a good book. It's a good book.
You know it's a good book, Free Agency for Dummies. And the Redskins is that. The Redskins is that.
Redskins are in
I don't know what you're doing. You get rid of Josh Norman. You get rid of.
They needed to get rid of Josh Norman.
Josh Norman was actually a pretty good thing. They had to get rid of him.
They had to get rid of him, but Trent Williams, is trying to get out of there. And I understand you brought in Ron Rivera, but then what makes me mad about this? Why the hell you want to try to draft another quarterback knowing you just drafted one last year? I'm lost. You need more than just a quarterback to win games. If you pass up on Chase Young, I swear to God, Redskins. I swear to God. Y'all go beat the on blast. That I can't. I'm not gonna curse, but
I told you about that. Watch out for the Giants if that does happen. They may go easily and get Chase Young.
Yes, and Gridiron Blitz and Troxel Sports Talk is going to be mad, but the Lions, the noise,
yes, again.
What are you doing? What are you doing in free agency? Like you got rid of Kennard, which was your one of your best linebackers. The Lions, y'all didn't get no protection from Matthew Stafford in this free agency. No protection. The guy's coming off a broken back.
And also they picked up Chase Daniels and paid him off
Chase Daniel.
I think they gave him 2 or 3 years.
Lord God, Detroit Lions, what is going on with y'all? I need to get rid of the owner, get rid of the co-owner, get rid of the co-owner, get rid of the GM, get rid of the ball boy, get rid of the coaches, get rid of Matt Patricia's wife and Matt Patricia. Wait a minute. Rid of everybody in the organization. And then what makes me mad is that I am not done yet. Wait a minute.
But the ball boy got a family.
The ball so what? I don't care if he got a family. You're trying to make the Detroit Lions out of the New England Patriots.
For Detroit.
They're a poor
trying to make the Detroit Lions the new version of the New England Patriots. It's not happening. Matthew Stafford ain't Tom Brady. And I understand Matt Patricia is trying to bring everybody from the Patriots over because I did trade for the corner Hardman. Whatever, man. The Detroit Patriots. That's exactly what they call the Detroit Patriots. And number 3, y'all might be shocked at this one. Number 3. No, you're not going to be shot at this one. You're not going to be shot. The Philadelphia Eagles. What are you doing?
They should have been number 1.
No. The Redskins I have not seen not one Redskin signed. At least the Eagles signed somebody. God damn. But the Eagles, look at me, King. Look at me, King. Howie, I don't know what the hell you're doing. And you signed that old fart Jason Peters again.
No,
I
Jason
swear-
Peters is gone.
Jason Peters won. That's good, but still, y'all let Vital walk. Y'all let Michael Jenkins walk, and y'all keep Jalen Mills. Jalen Mills.
Wait, Detroit picked up Big V from us. They gave him $5 million.
No, they gave him 50 million, not 5. They gave him 50 million. Which is Detroit, the Noive. You give somebody that can't block $50 million.
And I feel so bad for Pat Williams because even he went to the Detroit Lions. That's the only Chicago Bear I really feel sorry for in that situation.
I just don't
Poor
understand
Pat
Philadelphia right now, knowing that you have a contract with Alshon Jeffrey that y'all need to get out of. That's one. Number 2, what are y'all going to do on defense? Y'all signed the scrub in Douglas. He's a hot scrub. He's garbage juice on a Thursday morning. No.
We got Rodney.
No.
They signed Rodney McLeod back.
And
Yeah, I didn't see that.
McLeod is in the clouds, okay? Where he covers. He's in the clouds. So Philadelphia, they are my 3. And I cannot. It's 2 NFC East teams. That's the crazy part. Like Dallas and New York is outdoing both of y'all right now. I don't understand it.
And New York made me laugh in the draft.
Oh my God.
And it's crazy. It's still like Xavier Woods out there. It's Eric out there. But we do
Lord God. Oh, and I got an honorable mention. And I wish CA was in here. But the donkeys. What are you doing, donkeys? What are you doing?
They're riding like rawhide. Rawhide.
What? Y'all got Chris Harris leaves y'all to stay in the division. Y'all don't do y'all trade for offensive lineman from the Tennessee Titans. That's it. There's nothing else. Okay, but I rest my case. Who else want to go?
And they're about to let Flacco go.
I gotta go. I gotta get my losers out because it makes me happy. Number 1. Actually, I'm going backwards. Number 3. The Noive. The Noive. Because, you know what? I can literally say this, Noive, but I will rather tell you through singing. When the Ford family runs operations, they don't know what to do because it's freaking Detroit. At least we got the Pistons, but the Pistons still suck, and the Red Wings still suck, and the Tigers still suck. And it's, you know, so sad. All of them are just like the Wizard of Oz. You know what? Because the Detroit Tigers.
Really, Key?
The Detroit Tigers, you know, hear me out. I'm going to call out the whole city of Detroit because the whole city of Detroit, the Tigers need a brain. Detroit Pistons need a home.
No, Detroit Pistons got coronavirus. That's why the Detroit Lions ain't winning, ain't doing nothing in free agency because they got the coronavirus over there.
No, because the Ford family's killing them. The Ford family is putting the freaking
the Ford family has coronavirus.
Yeah. You guys are more interested in running a car than doing this. If I only had the Noive. And also, you know, with the Pistons, D Rose deserves better than that. Also, let me also say this about the Lions. What are you guys doing? It's like a traditional Lions thing. This is why I can't wait to be on Troxel Sports, and I'm not even gonna make fun of his team because it does it to itself. Chase Daniels for how much money? More Patriots players. Oh, I've never seen that before. The only good move I would say is getting Pat Williams because he is a solid defensive lineman. But to be honest, that's kind of sad. That's the only good player out from that damn team. And also, Matthew Stafford still sucks. He's still freaking Jay Cutler of the NFC North.
He is not Jay Cutler of the NFC North. Absolutely not. He is not the.
Yes, he is. We'll see.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Like this. I've fallen and I can't get up. Matthew Stafford. Number 2. Texans. Jesus Christ, the Texans. Ron T, football god. The punishment was supposed to go to the Houston Astros, not the Texans. But once again, Bill O'Brien is a hack. I rest my case with them. Before I get to my number one pick, here are a few dishonorable mentions.
Dishonorable?
Falcons. Jesus Christ, Falcons. I know you guys are going through a whole freaking rebuild. I get it. Letting Freeman go, that should have happened 2 seasons ago.
That should have happened 3 seasons ago.
God.
And also, what else
the
happened?
Super Bowl.
And you also lost your best tight end to the Browns. How do you get fleeced by the Browns? It's the freaking Browns. It's the factory of sadness.
Wait.
Well,
Detroit-
Carl Joseph's there too. So what you gotta say?
Detroit got Desmond Trufant.
Yeah, I did see that.
Which he's a former Falcon.
And they
Oh,
got
God,
and of course they let Vic Beasley walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, they let Vic Beasley walk. The Falcons, what are you doing? And also, let me ask you something real quick. Why is Dan Quinn still here? Please answer me that. Why is Dan Quinn still the head coach of the Falcons? Jesus Christ. Oh my God, this is worse than I can 28-3 the Falcons and call it a day.
I got
But they do
something.
it-
I got something for you, Ghoulie.
Which one?
The Packers agreed to terms with Mercedes Lewis for a 1-year deal.
Oh yeah. Okay, another dishonorable mention. You know what? This other team kind of gets it. Yeah, you have to put the Redskins on there. You know, isn't your GM supposed to be different? Isn't he supposed to be running football operations? Are you sure that Dan Schneider is not in control?
Dan Snyder's
Please
in
fix
control
that.
when it comes to the draft because he's making sure that the Redskins will not draft a quarterback.
God, poor Redskins. Jesus Christ. Well, at least
Poor
you guys
little-
got the
poor-
Capitals.
You gotta say poor little Thanksgiving logo.
Not poor little racist logo. I'm sorry. Shoot. But at the same time, I can't talk because my hockey team even has the picture of a Grand Chief. Another dishonorable mention: the Eagles. Yeah, Key. The Eagles are not number one in this category because the Eagles actually did something. They were 2 idiotic things, but they did something.
They actually went out.
Another dishonorable.
They actually went out in free agency and got something that they already good at instead of actually going and get something that they need. Unlike
Another
Eagles.
dishonorable mention. And I know a lot of you guys are going to say, what? The Rams. Yep. The Rams. Dishonorable mention. I will say this. You guys are only a dishonorable mention because you got Leonard Floyd. But 1 year, $10 million, that's insulting.
Now wait, I will say this. I was also going to say, was it because they re-signed Andrew Whitworth, who literally only has 1 more year left to play this game, and they signed him for 3 years?
Yes,
He's
for
on
like
his last
35,
man.
like for $35 million on top
Good
of that.
God.
Hold on, I
See,
actually saw that. They said that. Let me go to so it's 3 years, $30 million. He could get up to $37.5 million and $12.5 million guaranteed. He's the oldest.
Yep, the Rams.
he's the
Dishonorable
highest
mention.
paid player over 35.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And now,
you
the
know,
moment
the
we've all
crazy
been
part
waiting
is-
for. The moment we all been waiting for. Mal Gooley's number 1 trash loser. This one goes to a division rival, the Packers. The Packers are number 1. Let me say this right now, Packers fans. Come sit next to me, Green Bay fans. Why did you let go of Martinez, your best linebacker?
Wait, they let him go?
Yeah, Blake Martinez.
Yup.
Blake Martinez plays for the Giants now.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, they got him on a 3-year deal.
Hey, remember when Aaron Rodgers said you guys had a defense?
Not no more.
I don't know if you guys watch Sanford and Son, so I'm going to reiterate with this. This is me talking to the Green Bay owner. I thought you said you had a defense, Green Bay owner. I do. Me, you do? Well, where is it? Where's Martinez? Oh, Martinez. Oh, he signed to the Giants. Oh, but what about getting some more offensive line help for Aaron Rodgers? Oh, everybody is gone. Oh, Trent Williams doesn't want to come here. Oh, what about you guys have been quiet. Oh, I think I know why. Because you guys were over in dead cap when you spent all of that money on free agency. How is that contract for Adrian Amos is working out? Not doing so well, is he? You let go of Blake Martinez to the Giants. That's just a Green Bay move. And if Green Bay doesn't do anything in free agency and they actually think, oh, the draft is going to help us. Oh, the draft. Well, I got news for you, Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is getting old. Aaron Rodgers can't produce. And also I heard that him and Danica Patrick might not last too long. There's a thing called not having sex before the big game. So you might as well talk to Aaron Rodgers before he loses his special talent from Space Jam. So Green Bay, you are now the official losers of Malgooly's trash bag. I've been waiting on this for so long. I'm going to sleep with this and hold on to it.
Well, I will definitely
go down, Gooley. Let him go.
I will definitely put in a side note for Green Bay is that look, when Green Bay drafted Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre was 35. Aaron Rodgers is currently 35. So if you don't end up doing something now, then there's going to be no more future. But
Jameis Winston to the Packers.
Well,
yes,
that's a possibility.
Please God let it happen. If there is a football guy, please let it happen.
All right, so I'll start with my top 3 losers on this one. So I'm kind of excited for this number 3 one. All right, number 3, and listen, it doesn't matter. AFC, NFC, whoever you rep. Is it finally a blessing that we can finally say that the New England Patriots are losers in this one? Because first of all, you get rid of the GOAT, who's been there for 20 years. And what is the one thing that the New England Patriots had never done? They did not kiss Tom Brady's ass. They did not go out and kiss his ass. You were supposed to go and get a tight end. You whiffed on that situation. You go and draft wide receivers who, by the way, N'Keal Harry hasn't stayed healthy for his rookie year. And their wide receivers are not legitimate enough. Unlike Tampa, unlike the Chargers, they don't have a legit wide receiver. So, and then the other thing is you let Kyle Van Noy walk. There's also been a couple of offensive linemen that have also walked as well. So New England has completely wiped everything away. And I am finally glad, and I hope all of you guys are here on this chat and even over here on our live comments. You all should be happy as football fans. This is finally the day. It has happened. They are now the number 3 losers. Now, my number two up on this one is definitely the Detroit Lions.
Speaking of that, before you go into that, I'm on actual Gridiron Blitz channel right now.
Yeah.
And he has like the 2 Titanics. He had the Titanics picture with Matt Patricia, the owner. So shout out to Gridiron Blitz. They about to do the Grid and Trox show. So shout out to them. This is what's happening right now with the Detroit Lions on the Titanic right there. And it says never let go of it says it's the Lions way. Never let go of our past.
Wait a minute. What past? When were they ever successful?
Barry Sanders.
Not even then. This has never been a successful franchise since it first got established.
That's what it said. That's what they mean. Like, it's the Lions way. They will never let go of the past. And the past is still shitty like it is now. They're not doing nothing impressive. Excuse my language, but still.
What's the name of that song from the Titanic? The like, that's the Detroit Lions.
What, the Celine Dion song?
Yeah, that's
yes.
But here's the other thing though too, and here's one that I'm going to shout out. Shout out to Alex Acosta. He found a channel to talk about sports again. Thank you so much for the love, and honestly, thank you all for the comments. I mean, your guys' comments have been so great, and you guys have been very supportive, and nobody talks about that. Like, nobody ever gives us that much love here in this kind of business. So thank you. We appreciate all of you guys.
We really do. I was gonna wait to the end to say that, but thank you for getting it out, Nick. I appreciate that, brother.
Of course. So my number 2 would definitely be the Detroit Lions. The fact of the matter is that they gave rid of a lot. They got rid of almost their entire offensive line. And here was another thing that I was also hearing too, is that the Detroit Lions would be in the position to get Tua if he was available. You're going to say you're going to throw Tua in there with literally no line and he's going to run for the rest of his life? Or are you going to break the other hip? So Detroit at this point, the defense now is shaken up. The offensive line is shaken up. And there's going to be no time in the pocket now for a quarterback. You might as well just let Matt Stafford retire. Let him retire, and then just have David Blow go and blow the whole thing up. And, and that'll be fine. But Detroit right now, since the franchise even started, has never been successful. The general managing is absolutely just ridiculous. And there's nothing to turn this franchise around. There's nothing there. And then finally, number 1 is the Philadelphia Eagles. The fact is the secondaries, wow. I can't even believe that Malcolm Jenkins now just walks out the door and goes back to New Orleans. And, part of me is half and half about Jalen Mills, but yes, he did have an off year. He did. But they did not get any better with helping out the offensive line to try to at least give Carson Wentz more and more time and help. But here was the other thing that I haven't heard anything yet, but Alshon Jeffrey is still in an Eagles uniform. And
unfortunately,
and the unfortunate part, but if he doesn't get dealt and maybe get picks to go and get maybe some legit wide receivers in this draft, the Eagles right now, you could probably just kiss the hopes goodbye. The door now can be what was once open, now closing for Super Bowl chances. And so those are my 3 right there. Patriots, Lions, and the Eagles. I could finally say on the dotted line.
Iris don't do that. He's my least favorite player on the team.
Aaron Aguilar.
Oh, no.
You know what, to be honest, Alshon Jeffries, people say, oh, Mal Gooley, would you love to have Alshon Jeffries back? After him dissing the city, you know what? Karma is a total B, isn't it? Isn't it, Alshon?
Did you do your losers already, Key, or no?
No, I did not. So, number 3, it definitely would have to be. The Eagles aren't 3 on my list. I mean, aren't number 1 on my list. They're number 3. And then, Detroit. And then I think Houston tops it all. They top everything. You let go of DeAndre Hopkins. How? And why? For who? My son can run better than David Johnson. He's 12.
Well, before you go anymore, shout out to Philly Talk Podcast. Shout out to Philly Talk Podcast for being in the chat, man. Thank you for tuning in, man. I really do appreciate it.
Eagles, I know Howie is good for throwing us one, and I really hope this time is that chance, because I'm sitting here watching free agent and watching everybody getting swiped off the board. I'm like, all right, Howie, we glowing. Who we getting? Nothing. Okay, who we get? What, we like Malcolm Jenkins? What the? I'm at my desk at work going, are you kidding me? And then I'm like, we signed Jalen Mills. Like, you should have seen my face at my desk. I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm like, all right. And I'm like, who is this person from Pittsburgh? I'm like, okay. I'm like, we bring McLeod back? No receivers? No backup QB? Like, what are we, like, I'm really hoping he trades up, get one of these receivers that's in this draft. Something. Howie, throw us a bone. Do something.
He is throwing you a bone.
I got one for y'all that none of us did not pick. The Cincinnati Bengals. What the hell is the Cincinnati Bengals doing?
Look,
What in
we've already
the
made
hell?
fun of Cincinnati. Cincinnati doesn't really deserve to be on this list. Not yet. Because we already know who they're going for in the draft.
No. Why not? No. Hell no.
No. Hold on. D, hear me out. Hear me
All
out,
these
D.
good players
Hear me
and
out.
free
Hear me
agents.
out.
And no.
Hear me out.
You called them the Bungles all the time. Now you want to?
Yes, I do.
No.
Yeah, wait a minute. Hold on. You're about to ruin the joke. Here's the thing about the Bungles, man. They have a senile old man as an owner. They had an incompetent boob as a head coach. They don't have an O-line. They don't even have a defense. I think that the Bengals are doing a phenomenal job on free agency. Oh, wait a minute. Free agency is where you're supposed to get players to help out your team, not just sit there and just play with your thumbs or twiddle or to mentally drown yourself and watch all these good players go. You know what? The Bengals and Green Bay are
doing Philly Talk podcast. Same thing Eagles is going. They just tweeting their Twitters and tweeting their Twitches and playing video games and being quarantined and not signing nobody.
To be honest, I think Green Bay and Buffalo are
maybe the silent ones is who the ones you gotta watch out for. You never know. Something might be brewing because they're not really talking. And I like I said, I hope it's one of them cases. I hope draft see something big, and I'm gonna be like, oh my god, can we? The crazy part is, I got notification this morning, and I swear for goodness, I almost crashed my car. They said the Eagles almost had Hopkins. I said, are you shitting me? On the Bleacher Report, they said the Eagles actually went to go get him, but they got to David Johnson. They was like, okay.
It depends on what Houston really wanted too. You got to think about that.
Would have been crazy if Hopkins landed here.
All right, so there you have it, guys. I did put the number in the chat for y'all to call in to ask us any questions that you want to ask, because this free agency has been crazy the last 3 days, and I would never expect for half of these players to go where they went or be traded out of the blue. And y'all know in our chat, I've been making sure everything that's been going on with y'all teams, I at y'all on there. I make sure of that, man. But the Bungles, bro. The Bungles.
We get some questions to ask. Come on, guys. Ask us some questions. We always
if y'all want to call in right now, let us know. Call in right now at 267-776-4735. Please call in right now if you want to know anything. You will ask us any question about your teams, about anybody in our divisions. We don't really care about anybody else in our divisions. That's just what it is.
Absolutely.
Me and Snake got to go at it all year because I'm trying to make sure that the Raiders do better than the Chargers than all season, and he thinking the Chargers should be doing better than the Raiders this all season. So it's it's neck and neck between me and him, man.
But this is the fun. But this is the funny part, though.
West, got an NFC North and an NFC Least.
Yeah, and here's the funny thing, Jay. You gotta look. The funny thing, you gotta look at this though, man, because look. Here's what's funny. I became literally the oddball in my family because literally majority of my family are all Raider fans and I'm the only Charger fan and my mom's the only Giant fan. So, but yeah, we are all Golden Knight fans. That's the only thing we can have in common is we're all Golden Knight fans.
That's how it is with my family. That's how it is with my family. Like everybody in my family, we all Sixers fans. But my family is all Eagles fans besides me and my mother. My mother is a Seahawks and a Ravens fan, but she still root for the Eagles here and there. She root for the Eagles here and there, but she likes Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson. Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson. So I can't be mad at her about that. But I am the only Raiders fan out of my family on the East Coast. I got family on the West Coast that's Raiders fans. That's fine because it's on the West Coast. But on the East Coast, I am the only Raiders fan in my immediate family. Only.
Oh wow.
But yeah, I'm gonna say that.
And then your brother like the Spurs.
Oh yeah, my brother like the Spurs, and he's a 49ers fan.
I'm gonna say this about my family. My dad is a Green Bay Packers fan. My father is a Green Bay Packers fan.
How is that even possible?
That man has been a Green Bay Packers fan since I've been born.
but like what? How are you?
Let me also
same-
iterate this. Hold on. Wait a minute. Also, my father is also, a Green Bay Packers fan. When it comes to basketball, you know what? I call him a bandwagon, but no, his actual team is the Spurs when they had, a squad. So I guess he hopped on to the Golden State bandwagon, and he's still a Golden State Warrior fan. I don't know how. Well, I will have this, though. Also, in my cousins, I got one cousin's fan. Shout outs to you, Latasha. She's a Colts fan, and she lives in Gary, Indiana, where it's all Bears stuff.
Huh?
Yeah. No, it gets even better. My sister's a Colts fan. My mother goes for whoever is kicking butt because she doesn't really care for sports. My godmother is a Bears fan. Oh my God. I got a cousin who they live in Atlanta, straight up Falcons fans.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense? I got family that are Panthers fans. And on my dad's side, his older brother, God rest his soul, was a Bears fan and a Bulls fan. My uncle, my other uncle, Uncle Ernie, God rest his soul, is a Patriots fan.
Yeah, Iris and Vlogs. I never understood that how you're a Phoenix Suns fan and a Steelers fan. That does not mix.
Oh God!
For me, I'm a Cubs fan. I lived in Gary, Indiana for 13 years, and I hate the White Sox. I always loved the Cubs until the Cubs almost damn near killed somebody because he thought it was a foul ball. If you can remember that.
Oh yeah, that one was.
God, that's when I almost wanted the Cubs to never win a championship until stuff really changed. Thank God it did.
It's funny. Everybody, in my household is an Eagles fan, except my dad. He's a Giants fan. And he told me, he was like, if Jalen ever gets drafted by the Eagles, I won't come and visit him. I said, dang, you hate him? You hate the Eagles that much? You wouldn't come to your own grandchild? I ain't gonna lie. I'm not even gonna front you. I say that about Dallas. I said, if you ever get drafted into the league and you ever play for Dallas, I said, I don't know if I can put on that jersey.
Oh, look. See, this is what you do, though, because mind you, Jalen is a big boy. So I could see him going to the league if he plays his cards right. But the only time you don't wear that jersey is when they play in the Eagles. You should wear it any other time besides playing the Eagles.
It's like, because I hate Dallas with a passion, I wear every other jersey. I can't put that star on and be like, they're like, oh, you got Dallas.
The home of Texas.
You're like, he's my son. But then I'm like, I can't wear this color.
That's how I feel about the Broncos. I can't get nothing the Broncos. I hate that ugly behind orange. I hate that ugly behind donkey. I just hate everything about Denver. I hate Colorado. I hate the mountains. I hate the mile high. I just hate everything about the Broncos. It's just the most ugliest.
The crazy part is
color.
You got me a Broncos.
Well, how do you think I feel about Green Bay? I hate Green Bay. Everything about them. I hate their fans.
Only one time I touched anything that was the Broncos colors, and that's when me and Keena Builder used to work at Liz, and she got a Broncos hat with a quarterback that's not even there no more. His name is Paxton Lynch. So with that being said, every time she wore that hat, I just could not stand it. It made me cringe. Don't get me wrong, I could wear it.
I got Von Miller on my hat too. I got Von Miller.
I don't care for Von Miller either.
Now, here's my why I hate
Now, the Chargers, I could wear the Chargers colors because the colors are dope. I'm not going to lie.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard.
I don't care about that bright ass licorice, the bright ass Twizzler, Kansas City Chiefs. Look like a smoke in a pancake. I don't know what's going on over there, man. Kansas City Chiefs. I just don't get
Smoking
it.
a pancake. Bonging a blintz.
No, you gotta do it the correct way.
You
gotta be smoking a pancake. No, you gotta do it like
smoking
that.
a pancake.
Yeah.
A bonging a blintz.
Hold up. That.
Got the Colts hat with T.Y. Hilton on there.
Hey, there you go.
Okay.
T.Y. Hilton.
I gotta give me a new Raiders hat because I got the Amari Cooper autograph.
There's a reason why.
Like I said,
he speaks of.
Get that crap out of here.
Here's
Here's the reason why I can't deal with Green Bay. Believe it or not, I never told anybody this except for one person.
Green Bay got some ugly ass.
When I was a little kid, my dad tried to brainwash me into becoming a Green Bay Packer fan. And he almost succeeded because Brett Favre was the GOAT. I love Brett Favre. Brett Favre was the GOAT, but the Bears, the Bears are still the Bears.
Yeah.
But the reason why I hate Green Bay, there's a lot of reasons. Number one, the fan base. Oh, jumping Jesus Christ, the fan base.
That's how I feel about the Broncos. Like the Broncos fan base is
they never shut up about their success. They love to rub it in. Oh, we're 5-time Super Bowl winning champions. Oh my God. But can easily forget about past failures. Does 2011 ring a bell? Or 2010 ring a bell?
That's how I feel about the Broncos. Oh, he won back-to-back with John Elway and Terrell Davis. You know how long ago that was? That was 98 and 99. It did. Oh, we have Tim Tebow. We beat the Steelers in the playoff game. Tim Tebow is nowhere to be found. He's doing baseball analyst stuff now. Please stop.
And he's with the Mets of all places. Yeah, he played with the Mets.
Yeah, he plays with the
Mets. He plays with UNS Cespedes for the Golden Glove of Robinson.
The Mets almost like the same colors as the Denver Broncos, but just a little bit lighter.
Just a little lighter.
Here's the thing. The Broncos copied the Bears. That's the funny thing.
You know,
the Broncos are wannabe Bears.
Here's one thing that I could say though, and honestly, you want to know who exactly is probably one of the best Charger fan bases? This man right here in this camera is the only fan base you have left. We ain't got nothing. We literally got nothing.
Yeah, the whole fan base.
The whole fan. That's what I said. I remember this from day one when the fan base jumped after they left San Diego to go to Los Angeles. You know what they did? They took all the merchandise, all of just the pictures, and they burnt it into this torch like they had freaking wooden pallets on a bonfire night. And I told them, I'm like, shame on all of you. I said, shame on all of you. I don't like all of you. You ain't loyal fans, okay? So don't give me that crap and say, well, the Chargers are just so good. You didn't care. And you bailed on them. So I was like, you know what? I'll just write my P.O. box. Anything Chargers, send it my way. Because at least I am the last kid on the planet to still be repping for this organization, no matter where they are.
Yeah, the Chargers. I don't know why. I never. You know what's funny? I never, as much as you say that, I never in my life seen like a Chargers throwback jersey. I never seen a Chargers hat. I never seen Chargers merchandise until you can't go into because me and Key live in Philadelphia because we have a store called Pro Image. I don't know if there's any of those out there, but it's a sports store called Pro Image. Yeah. But you never see any Charger stuff in Pro Image.
No, you never see
ever.
Every
other division but Chargers merchandise. It's crazy.
Well, I could tell you this. I mean,
Vegas, are you serious right now? Steelers have a big fan base?
Oh God, here
comes they do. They do.
Oh,
no, they do. But when you get past Philly and Harrisburg and all that, as you go up closer to Ohio, that's all Pittsburgh. That's all Pittsburgh.
I'm gonna say this, and I don't hate the Steelers. Well, not like I used to, but the Steelers fan base was so freaking annoying. Yinzer Nation. Oh my God. And
terrible towel.
Oh my God, the terrible towel. I hated it. And also, like,
I had a terrible towel back in the day.
In Pittsburgh, like Steelers wear is like cultural. Like I see it in buildings and horses, freaking churches. Jesus Christ. No. I'm sorry. The Steelers.
Hey, I'll put this out. I'll put this out there for the Steelers because you know what? If we're going through this coronavirus outbreak, we got extra toilet paper with those terrible towels because it's so terrible.
Nice and
here's something else for the Green Bay Packers, man. I mean, well, their jerseys do look like diarrhea green, so they do got the diarrhea green thing going on. So I understand that, but the yellow for P, I don't get the white stuff. Maybe that's something that all fans want to do on their me time because most Packer fans don't even have girlfriends. Their only girlfriend is Aaron Rodgers and his touchdown passes.
I can't. I can't.
And all you just the water just spurting out of it. I'm sorry. I know this PG moment.
As of right now, I don't see anyone calling in at this moment.
I know
So
what's going on, guys. Come on, call in up on that number. Here's the thing,
And I know a lot of
We're
people are going to
doing it.
ask me about this. Guys, how do you feel about WrestleMania is now a 2-day event? April 5th and April 6th.
we don't care.
That's sad. WrestleMania.
We don't care. But
Vince needs to close the show.
But if y'all not going to call in, man, I'll make sure I'll have the number for y'all earlier in advance. I was having some problem with my Skype number because this is my Skype number. But most likely when we do another podcast, hopefully we can have people call in into the actual show. But before we get out of here, I do want y'all to give out y'all social medias. I do have a banner for each person with their YouTube name and their Twitter name or IG name. So Ghoulie, I'm gonna let you go first and let it be known where they can find you at, if for all the people that's new in the chat.
For all you that's new in the chat, if you love wrestling, Chicago Bears stuff, actually just a more confusing and more anger-filled Chicago fan, then subscribe to Malgoolie. That's MALCGOOLIE. You can still follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's the same as my YouTube channel.
All right, and Key in the building. Let's go.
Key in the building. I'm always in somebody's chat. It don't matter who. I'm in Ghoulie's chat. I'm in Spotlight's chat. I'm all around in the chat. Y'all find me on YouTube somewhere. But no, subscribe.
You found the slogan.
Key in the building. Go subscribe. I just do my morning rants about things. If you want to get a good key and a good laugh, get some rant videos in. I'm on Twitter as well. I'm Key in the building on Twitter. So yeah, hit me up. You want to see a rant in the morning? You want to see me go off? I did rant on here a little bit, but if you want to find more of those rants, come subscribe me.
All right, and the last but not least, Snake Sports Talk Show. Let it be know where they can find you at, even on Podbean or I just got your YouTube and your Instagram as of right now.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? I do a little bit of intro because I know you've listened to my Podbean podcast. You guys definitely subscribe to it. But this is always my intro because my intro features the LA Lakers kind of theme. And I love this. But this is how I do it every morning. All righty, everybody, and welcome to the Snake Sports Talk Show. IGTV, IG Live on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel here if you want to talk all about sports, baseball, football, basketball, hockey. I'm all around it. And I'm also in the process of, thanks to Malgoolie, of getting an Anchor FM. I've now started an Anchor FM, and I'm going to be going on Spotify and iTunes. So I'm going to be all around it.
Let's go.
That is how we do it. And here's the thing. This is for all of our fans, because are you guys just sick and tired of listening to the herd all the time? You want somebody with a reasonable knowledge? Well, then come over to the Snake Sports Talk Show. Subscribe to it, my friends.
Oh, we got a breaking news. It's official. The Watch the Redskins finally signed somebody.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thomas Davis.
Oh.
I knew that in the chat. I told y'all he wanted to be back with Ron Rivera.
It's official. Thomas Davis is back with Ron Rivera, and it's official. I don't know what the actual the details of it, but the Redskins, you still get the noise from me because Thomas Davis is an old fart. He's an old fart that want to go back to Ron Rivera. He's going to a defense that does not have nothing going for themselves whatsoever. So it is what it is.
The part is they got good defensive people over there. That's the sad part.
If you really want to know what they're good at, they're really good at taking selfies after a loss. Yeah. They're really good at that. Thank you, Dwayne Haskins. Let me just get that.
I also got some breaking wrestling news. Luke Harper is officially signed with AEW. He made his debut tonight.
Thank God.
But he's not Luke Harper anymore. He's back to his old alma mater, and that's Brody Lee. So I'm happy with that.
But like Snake Sports Talk was saying, if y'all don't want to hear the herd, we are the YouTube of ESPN First Take. We are the YouTube of that. That's what Spotlight
But we're
Sports
better.
Talk here
We're
is.
better than First Take.
We're better than First Take. Okay, I could.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're better than Stephen A.
So,
Smith. Come on.
So is Snake Sports Talk Max Kellerman?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah,
Max
he'll be
Kellerman
Max.
And
with a
I must be. So I'm Stephen A. Smith, but who is Malguli though?
He can be I
Who's that
wouldn't say
one guy that's
Damian
in that
Woodley.
If I was,
background?
if I was like a personality on
It'd be Marcus Spears.
ESPN, it would be my guy
I'll say Marcus Spears. Yeah, Marcus Spears.
Or it could be my guy who from Around the Horn, because I love that show, Around the Horn.
Well, Michael Wilbon.
No,
That's Partner Interruption.
One of them
Partner
guys.
Interruption.
They all the same.
No, Around the Horn. You never seen Around the Horn?
I've seen Around the Horn, but I like Partner Interruption better.
Around the Horn, I love because
Around the
I
Horn,
love the
you can
host.
mute people.
Yes, I love the host because he be muting people.
But
He might put their ass on blast, but more clean.
Well, like I told you, Darren, because out here in Vegas, man, I'm telling you, I don't know if you've heard of him yet, but JT the Brick, he was absolutely just excited of what the Raiders did. He's like, finally, the Raiders got at least the defense.
We got it right this time. We didn't overpay like we used to in the past years. We didn't overpay.
Also, guys, you can also follow me also on Anchor as well, and I will put that on the channel here as well here shortly.
Damian Estrada said that Gooley is Skip Bayless and Lee Jenkins says Shannon Sharp.
Okay, Shannon Sharp, I will kind of agree with, but Skip Bayless, heck no, Skip Bayless has no guts.
Key, who would you be? I'm lost.
I don't know. I'm just sure I'm like not saying nobody, but
when it comes to basketball, I say Jay Williams.
There you go.
Yeah.
Basketball, Jay Williams.
I can be your Damian Woody.
Yeah, you're Damian Woody. Yeah, I can say that. But you know me, everybody call me Stephen A. Smith 2.0. They call me that for some reason. I get heated in the chats, and I love the debate. So that's just
that's Stephen A.-esque.
Can we also still make, since we still got time, can we still make fun of the Texans? I think we didn't do a good job on making fun of them.
Oh, there you go. Key is Chris Broussard.
Why are you so baffled about like going after the Texans? Like
because Bill O'Brien is the coronavirus. He is the coronavirus of the NFL.
I said that already.
No, you said it was Detroit.
No, he didn't.
I said Bill O'Brien first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Bill O'Brien. Well, shoot, everybody. Okay. Here's one. The top 5 people that are in the NFL that are the coronavirus.
Hold up, Gooley. Iris and Flaw is going to say key in the building is Chris Broussard.
Okay.
Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad.
Nah, that's not too bad.
As long as you ain't say Nick Wright, I don't like him that much.
Who's your top 5 people in the NFL that can be the coronavirus? If coronavirus was a person,
The coronavirus.
AB.
AB.
AB worse than the coronavirus. AB is HIV. I'm sorry. He's AIDS. He's the AIDS.
I would
of the
say
NFL.
HIV was hepatitis.
He's the AIDS. He's the AIDS. He's not. AB's not curable.
It's A, B, or C.
Oh man,
that's bad.
I would say Marvin Lewis, but he doesn't have a job.
No.
If
coronavirus was a person, Hugh Jackson.
No.
No.
Jackson's a good call, man. We're not going to do that, Gooley. Not the Hugh Jackson.
Hey.
Wait a minute. Broken Matt's in AEW.
Who?
Broken Matt.
Oh,
Matt on AEW?
Matt Hardy.
They got the
Delete.
drone. Swear to God, turn to TNT.
I knew Matt Hardy was going to AEW. I knew that for a fact.
Delete. Delete.
Yes,
Just like all these NFL losers. Delete.
Roger Goodell is the coronavirus. Yes, Roger
Yes,
Goodell.
Roger Goodell is the coronavirus.
I would.
Jerry Jones. Oh my God. Dude, he is on AEW. He's in the freaking stands.
Who?
Delete.
Matt Hardy. And he's in his broken gimmick. And he dyed his hair red.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord. You know, last time we seen him, he got RKO.
So I guess it's time for us to end this. So
Delete. LeVar Ball. Oh God, yes. LeVar
You
Ball.
know, LeVar actually calmed down.
Yeah, but he is the coronavirus though.
LeVar actually calmed down now.
Listen, he only calmed down for just a little bit, but there are still parts of LeVar
until LaMelo comes to the.
But no, because they told him, they said, "Yo, you gotta chill out if you want LaMelo to actually go somewhere. You gotta stay out of it and let him do things."
Yeah,
right. But we are at the 2-minute and 30 mark. We don't want to go over the 2 hours. Just to let y'all know, please go subscribe to the Spotlight Sports Talk. I am on Spotify. I am on Anchor. I am on Apple Podcasts, Spotlight Sports Talk. For everybody else, Snake Sports Talk, please go subscribe to Snake Sports Talk Show on YouTube. Follow him on IG at Snake_sports_talk_show. For Malguli is the same thing. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram, and follow him on YouTube at Malguli and Key in the Building.
And also
Anchor at the Ghoulie Zone podcast, which is a wrestling podcast for Malguli. Subscribe to Key in the Building, which is YouTube, Key in the Building. Follow him on Twitter at JustBME84, which is AKA Key in the Building. We want to thank y'all for tuning in to another great episode. We know Cody Parkey has the coronavirus. He had the coronavirus since the double doink.
Cody Parkey.
But thank y'all for tuning in to another weekly podcast. Comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see y'all later. We'll see y'all next week. Probably sometime this weekend. If we have something to talk about, we'll put an agenda together. We'll do another podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we'll see y'all in the next podcast.
That's all, folks. Delete.